And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Players Circle. Glad to have you with us. And today's show, part two. It's part two of our Wednesday show. So we're going to be continuing off with some of those topics that we did not cover because, we wanted to keep it nice and short, midweek episode. Loke, welcome in. Glad to have you.
Uh, hey, glad to be here. Let's go.
Awesomeness. All right. As you guys know, we left off. We're about to talk about Rockstar's Strauss Zelnick. He recently did an interview, and we're gonna dive into that. But I think the main topic of today's episode is going to be the title or the cover star, which is Crimson Desert. Game launched this week, most anticipated game for a while. I mean, I can't remember how long this game has been hyped up. Look, I think you already have some opinions. Let me just actually ping Tai. I think he fell asleep. Your thoughts? Are you getting Crimson Desert?
I actually got gifted it.
Oh, really? Lucky you.
Ham sent me the code.
This guy is asking me when are we starting. We are now live.
Seriously? Oh my god.
Like normally I tell him like 30 minutes before because there's a little bit of like, a 2-hour difference between our time and then his. So when did he ask me this? When are we starting? This guy is asking me 8 minutes after, like he's asking me no. So he probably joined.
Europeans, man. Europeans, man. I'm telling you.
In a couple of minutes. He knows like we were 2 hours behind, or we're 2 hours. There's a 2-hour difference between our time zones. So you're saying you got gifted the game, right?
Yeah. I got gifted the game.
Okay. And have you started playing it?
No, I have not. I've got the game installed.
Hey, the chat is already buzzing. Hey, welcome in, Rachie. Sorry to interrupt you there. Welcome in, Fuzzy.
That's cool.
And this fraud Taye is in the chat. Loke was gifted by what? By Prela Beast. He's calling you a fraud.
He's calling me a fraud. Why?
Huh?
Why is he calling me a fraud?
Because he says you got gifted the game by Prela Beast.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
The nerve on that guy. So anyways, that is going to be our main topic. I want us to cover this because this is one of those situations where a game is universally hyped. Like I had my own, like Tai and I had spoken about this before. And I think we agreed in terms of like, how hyped we were for this game. And I'm going to find out from you, Loke, shortly in terms of like, what was your anticipation level? Was this the game changer that we've been waiting for, the next Witcher 3 or the next Witcher or whatever, generation defining game, this is supposed to be. Aside from that, we're going to be talking about Strauss Zelnick. There's this awesome interview with Strauss Zelnick. We're not going to watch the whole thing. It's about 30 minutes. It's not long, but I just want us to watch the beginning and where he starts to talk about like, GTA and like, he hints on some of these things that make GTA successful. And I think those things make for nice conversation. And I think those things would be nice to sort of like unpack, especially with other, with your input. I hope Kenwell is going to join us today as well. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a lot of niceness that you're talking about. Nice this, nice that.
Hey, your audio is a little bit low. Get closer to the mic.
Sorry, I was saying it's a lot of niceness that you're talking about. Nice this, nice that. What a niceness.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So aside from that, then we are also going to be talking about Game Pass. Not specifically Game Pass, but we're going to be talking about the update to Xbox. And while we're discussing that, we're also going to be talking about some Game Pass drops, quite a few. Aside from those Game Pass drops, we're also just going to look at like what else dropped this week. And if we still have some time, because it's a very short program today, because it's part 2, I also wanted to start our little experimentation and talking a little bit about like some movies, and like some pretty big trailers came out this week, and I think we can unpack that. We all enjoy the same things, and these movies are very much game adjacent. There's two trailers, big, very big, and we're gonna be sort of unpacking those as well to see, like, what is our excitement levels.
That was funny. That was funny. Very big.
I tell you, one of the best trailers I've ever seen.
With the hand gestures, don't forget the hand gestures, motherfucker.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I'm doing them, but like, I think my camera is like, why is it facing so high? So I was doing the hand gestures, like one of the best trailers.
One of the best.
I told Marvel, this is one of the better trailers. I've seen your other trailers.
Oh my goodness!
All right, guys, welcome in.
Bro.
We have. Oh, jeez. Glad to have you with us. Yeah, so again, like, just my little disclaimer at the beginning of the show. This is one of those shows where every opinion is challenged. This is a grift-free zone. There are no sacred cows. Our conversation is open. No one is beyond criticism, and there are no funny agendas or no funny virtue whatnots. So before we start, I'll start with you, Loke. So what have you been playing and what you've been up to? I saw your show. Like, wait, you had a catch-up show on, when was it? Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, explain.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch. I missed the Sunday show. I think when you guys started, I was about to sleep because I just came back from a very, very heavy gaming session. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about, like, and then I caught like the later end of that show, and you were talking about like your own channel and all that type of stuff. Like, so can you just tell me a little bit more about, or just tell us a little bit more about that? What's happening?
We're moving the flagship pod from Sunday. So bull setting, we're moving that from Sunday to Monday. From Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, or 3 a.m. Central African time, 1 a.m. for British Standard Time. Sorry, and I'm thinking about doing more of those catch-up shows, because what usually happens is there's usually 2 or 3 really big stories that happen in gaming, and there's just not enough time to cover all the other ancillary parts of, like, moving parts in the gaming industry. So I tried on Monday. I did the show at about 6 a.m.
Yeah,
and that was okay, but I'm thinking I'm gonna move that as well. I'm gonna start doing those around 10 or 11 p.m. So we're talking about 4
is this American
or
time?
5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
No. 10 or 11 p.m. Central African time. 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time.
None of those.
The reason why the reason why I'm aiming for that change is because getting up at about 5 a.m. usually I'd rather just be going to the gym at that time than podcasting. Like, my body's kind of built that way, so it felt kind of weird doing it at the time that usually I'm doing something else. So I'm gonna move it to about 10 or 11
there's something up with Taya's connection. Let me just because I can see his block here.
because he won't move to Starlink. He needs to move to Starlink.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, but like something is wrong with your block. Like, I can see the block, but there's nothing there.
You know what? I'm gonna leave and pop back.
Yeah, leave and come back, because there's like an empty block here next to just below Luke, and yeah. Sorry, go on, Luke. Oh, sorry. Before you go on, I just want to give the chat some shout out. So welcome, Vincent. Says good evening. We've got Fuzzy with us. Yo, Fuzzy, back. And Raichi says finally. So finally, so finally it's on. Are you talking
Fuzzy.
about the show, or are you talking about Crimson Desert? Glad to have you. Loke, please proceed.
Sorry. I think I was done explaining the
Oh,
changes.
okay.
Like we moved the main show to Thursday, and I'm gonna be trying to move to do the catch up show more often, so we
Yeah.
can tackle the little ancillary pieces that are moving around, because those pieces sometimes turn into the big pieces. So it's important for us to make time for those as well.
Okay, I feel you on that. So in terms of what you've been playing and what you've been up to.
I tried Wild Hearts, and I
Mhm.
gave up after about 2 hours. It deserved to be ignored the way it was. Uh,
Mhm.
I tried to play WRC, the EA game,
Mhm.
because Nacon stopped publishing and then they passed it to EA. I can safely say it's in horrible hands.
Yeah.
EA managed to destroy a franchise that to most people was just mediocre forever, and now it's just terrible.
Mhm.
Now it's terrible, and they did it in one installment. It didn't even take them long. One go. Hats off to EA. Great job, guys.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic. Um, I've got Crimson Desert installed,
Yeah.
but today has been a bit of a full day. I've been really swamped with a lot of stuff in terms of
Mhm.
like real life or whatever. Hopefully tomorrow I can have time to play it, because after this I've got the podcast with Wise as well, and then I'm gonna have to crash. But tomorrow is like a heavy cardio day for me as well. So
No, man. Respect. Like, if you're still hitting cardio at your age, bro, good man. Good man. I respect your uh, your commitment. Rachie says, I'm not buying Crimson Days at day one. I still have 6 months of Game Pass and I'll play Starfield. All right. So, Rachie, I take it you're looking forward to the new updates for Starfield. Fuzzy says, probably going to finish AC Valhalla this weekend and then I'll get into Crimson Desert. So, Fuzzy's got the same idea that I have. What Crimson Desert actually made me feel like was going back to the Assassin's Creed games. I just need to decide which one I want to pick up again, because I have like multiple playthroughs on those games and none of them are finished. So I'll look at the one that I can remember, like the closest. Like, okay, cool. This one was, I think it's Odyssey. I think a good 70% through. I might finish that, but I'm not gonna pick up Crimson Desert day one by any chance. Um, Vincent says classic early access skill level. I suppose he's talking about the state of Crimson Desert. Uh, I think Tay is having some issues. Um, there we go. Tay, I can see you.
have issues.
Okay, and you just dropped off as well. Let me just find out what's up with Tay. And Murphy's Law is working overtime today. But you guys in the chat, tell us, what have you guys been playing, and are you picking up Crimson Desert day one? Are you playing Crimson Desert this weekend? Is that what you're jamming? Yeah. So Taya says he's in. So Taya, I can see you, but your screen is blank, dude. Like, say something on the mic. Oh boy, everybody seems to be having technical problems today. Uh, okay, let's try and get Loke back in here. Okay, Loke is still fine. Okay. All right. So he says he thinks it's on my end. Loke, are you experiencing problems? I really wonder what the issue is. Let's see. Let's close this. Let's close a couple of these windows. See if it doesn't improve anything. If they're still having issues, I might have to restart my system. But okay, cool. So while the guys are having some issues, let's actually just start this conversation. The one thing I wanted us to sort of like touch on, or the one thing I just wanted us to sort of conclude from when was it? Wednesday. So there's been more developments when it comes to the DLSS front, and then what it turns out is that actually it's not just it wasn't everyone's imagination when everyone was saying that this is actually AI slop, inverted commas, or that the issue was the fact that this is actually using the same sort of principles in terms of like how it works, how the technology works, as what normal generative AI does. And this came out, and this was quite a few outlets ran with it. There's a particular dude that I do trust that actually does some solid reporting. That I actually whose video I wanted us to go through. So I'm just gonna help the gents out here and just try and figure out what the issue is. So I don't know if you guys know Vix. So Vix is one of these PC guys. Pretty cool guy. Pretty upstanding guy. He's smaller than like the bigger channels, but at the same time, he's one of the guys that I go to for like my PC. Whenever something big is happening on the PC front, his opinion is typically on the money when it comes to these subjects. So we're gonna check in with him, and then I might need to reset my system because I don't know what's happening. Everybody is having problems joining. Let's see. All right. Actually, let me just do this. Let me just reset my system, and then we'll pick this up. Just give me a minute. It doesn't normally take long. Be right back.
Yo, can you hear me?
Are you finally awake? Yes, we can hear you. There we go. I think we're good to go. Is my audio fine? Okay, Luke, I
Yo,
think is still
we
here.
still live.
Huh? Yeah. We're live. We're still on. Like I just reset my computer, but I think we're back on.
Yeah, I think it was always from your end. Rachie, I agree with you about Crimson about Ubisoft. They make games that are worth your dollar or euro. Now, people might complain that like, well, that's not valuable, and that's fine, but they're at least giving you content. Like I look at Crimson Desert, and I think to myself, this is a Ubisoft like game.
But is it worth your money?
The combat.
I tell you, you keep cutting your sound. Your sound is cutting out.
I think from looking at Crimson Desert, to be honest, the art style,
Yeah.
its art style, but I think what it's executed it well. Is attractive. However, when I look at Crimson Deserts, I'm just in Knight's kind of vibe to it.
Chat, just tell me, can you hear Taye's audio completely? Because it keeps cutting out on my end.
I just don't really know. like from an artistic point of view, I just don't really get it.
Can you hear me, Ty? Yeah. So he says you're cutting in and out. Yeah, like how's my audio? Is my audio fine? Fuzzy? And I can't hear Loke at all. I'm not getting anything from Loke. Okay, so Fuzzy says I'm fine. So Ty, this must be an issue on your side, dude. Like, if Fuzzy can hear me, is my video clear, Fuzzy? And then Loke as well. I have no idea. Oh jeez. Okay. All right. Cool. So Ty says you'll join back in 10 minutes. Okay. Cool. So I think let's proceed. Let's see how this plays out. So again, I just wanted to play a video for you guys just before we get into this Crimson Desert story. I just wanted to wrap up that story around DLSS 5. And this, to me, like this dude that I'm going to be putting on the screen, this is a dude that I really, really trust his coverage. Vincent, I'm sure you know this dude, Vix. So he's like he's a relatively, like, I think, level-headed guy. And I most of the time I agree with these takes. I think they're pretty much, they're fair, they're objective, which is what you want from most takes. And I think he really speaks from the side of not just a gamer, but just from an industry perspective. He's someone that has been around long enough, like I've followed long enough, that I think a lot of the stuff that, all his takes are based mostly. And he's just basically giving us feedback on this whole DLSS thing, and then we'll get into, as soon as the gents can join, we'll get into the Crimson Desert discussion. Okay, let's get this dude up here. There we go. Nope, not this one. Where is he? There we go. All right. Almost there. There we go. Uh-huh.
Unveiled DLSS 5, the company's most significant breakthrough in computer graphics since the debut of real-time ray tracing in 2018.
I spoke with one of the engineers on this project, and he mentioned that you could apply it to games as primitive as Minecraft.
And I don't think it takes a genius to be like, hey, NVIDIA, I don't think this looks as good as you think that it looks. Look at the like-dislike ratio on this video, guys. It is really freaking bad. Oh my god, they left comments on. Now your game can look like an AI-generated image. Wow. No way this isn't an April Fool's joke. We have achieved it. Everything looks like a YouTube thumbnail now. Oh god, they caught me. We went from ray tracing to slop tracing. Grace's face looks like those ads on the hub, bro. I just kind of wanted to show you guys some of the things that I found about it. Here is DLSS 5 off and then DLSS 5 on the bottom. And what about this? DLSS 5. It's looking great, guys. It yassified them. And maybe yassify Jesus Christ into something like this. 2 sticks of RAM costs $900 because of this shit. Gamers Nexus is even telling people to send the craziest ones that they found, and I like this one. This one's pretty good. And Steve's saying he can't really tell a difference with them. Dude, this into this. Oh my god. It's so bad, dude. It's got people who don't really talk about tech stuff.
Nah, bro. No. No, bro, no.
This specifically reminds me of when NVIDIA introduced ray tracing in 2018, and there's all the memes of it being like RTX on, RTX off. I remember this one specifically about the real-life bugs of Hollow Knight. This is what it still reminds me of. NVIDIA thinks that this is good.
All right, thanks,
they're taking
Fuzzy.
something of a completely different style and then turning into something that is just not whatsoever. That's what.
Okay, so I just wanted to stop it there. So to me, that's very important. So like the way that they sold this thing, or the way that they positioned this thing, was as if it was actually using input from artists, as well as actual engine information to be able to do this. So they positioned this as if like the actual game was doing this, or the hardware or this technology was not actually changing the game or adding anything external from the game. Everything was being done with the artists in hand, with the game and the original assets. But it turns out that's not the case. And then there's an important part that he's going to get to where he sort of points this out, where he says, like, basically, yeah, well, I mean, there's actual evidence to show that this is using the same technology that what's the word, that like, you know, like, for instance, that people use to generate what people call AI slop, or just images of the internet. And again, I really am curious as to why NVIDIA would want to sort of like hide this, or you know, not be just transparent about it. I mean, NVIDIA is a reputable company. They've been doing this thing forever. I don't understand why all of a sudden we're here where NVIDIA is trying to mislead its customer base in terms of what this technology actually does. Just be honest, it's technology. Just tell us what it does. Reichi says, ray scamming, FUD tracing, and now fake tracing. And I could still forgive the other two. I could forgive the ray scamming and the FUD tracing, or the frame generation. But to me, this is a little bit more sinister, or just comes across a little bit more sinister, because of the fact that they're trying to hide that all this is doing is the same thing that, you know, people do with their pictures. And of course, I don't understand the technical language behind this, but This dude sort of explains it, I think, very, very thoroughly.
Brings me to, like, what even is going on here? How is Nvidia making an image that looks so fake but kind of real at the same time, but is also changing the artistic vision of the game possibly? What is going on, and why does it trigger our brains so much of it's hitting that uncanny valley? This does not feel right or real. These are video games, not real life, not a fucking movie. Now there have been some people that have been...
So I just want to find out from you guys, is this something that is acceptable to you? If, for instance, they said that this technology was coming or was available to, say, your current console, your current PC in 3 months' time, is this technology that you would want to use? For instance, with the new Starfield upgrades coming out, if Bethesda, Xbox, and Nvidia said this technology is going to be available, and I know this is very unlikely because Xbox runs on AMD. But if they said and PlayStation also runs on AMD, if they said that this is going to be available for console, and you'll be able to experience this technology on the next Starfield, is this something that you would be interested in using? Let me know what you guys think in the chat.
Positive about this.
So I think this is probably the most impressive by quite a lot game demo I've seen.
You know, when you flick between the two, which one would you rather play? It's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it?
They obviously went to the conference themselves, so you can't really tell them what they did or didn't experience. But Digital Foundry's video is getting rolled right now. DLSS 5, your art direction, basically. Grace's face looks like, I made the character hot edits. Applied the slop filter, please, said no one ever. Digital Foundry's comment section is destroying them. I do hate to say this, but Digital Foundry does show for Nvidia a lot of the time. Digital Foundry just recently had a video that was sponsored by Nvidia, and its content fully sponsored by Nvidia. They make it clear that it was sponsored, but at the same time, in that video, they do not say anything negative about the ray tracing, the path tracing in the game. They don't mention how much of a performance hit it takes, how it makes everything in the game look smooth. I hate that this is a situation that we're in, but I'm not trying to start any beef. It's just something I've observed with them.
This is what it looks like with DLSS 5. Look at her face. Goes from regular video game graphics to Snapchat, yes, queen.
So a lot of people obviously disagree with Nvidia's vision of what the future.
And I agree with you, Fuzzy. Like, I'd definitely try it. Like, look, especially for a game that I find so difficult to play, like Starfield. Two things take me out of Starfield. It's the fucking NPCs are like they're not just unattractive, like, or they're not just appealing to your eye. They literally make your eyes bleed. Like, there's something that's just so weird, especially the way they stare at you as they're walking past you or they're walking away. It is so unnatural. It just feels so weird. And if this thing can ease that pain, my eye sores when I'm playing Starfield, I'm more than willing to try it. I mean, it just makes it really makes the game look way better. So I'm really more than willing to try it. For me, I'm very open to that. Richie says, the haters are fake. People are just annoyed because their GTX 1070 Ti's can't run AI slop. They're angry because it will cost an arm and a leg to upgrade their potato pieces. And this is a valid point that you raise here, Richie, because given from what they've said about this technology, the fact that these demos were running on two, not one, and I mentioned this, Vincent will remember, two 5090s. It just tells you that this is not something that anyone is going to be able to afford in the next, well, the regular, Steam player is not going to be able to afford this for a couple of years to come until they get this technology to be able to do this on a 4070 or a 40 or a 5050, for instance. Like most of their technology, like the new frame generation that they have, that runs on their lowest SKUs, which is like the 4060 and the 5050. So this is not anything that the average person has to worry about. But what I want to find out from you, do you think developers are justified? Because a lot of sort of feedback is coming out that says developers are also not buying into this. Developers sort of hate this. And a lot of them were not told about this. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that devs should be concerned And do they have the right to be concerned? Because the game, at the end of the day, Resident Evil still belongs to Capcom, and it's Capcom's IP, so they can do what they want.
Of neural rendering in gaming is.
What I'm saying is that it's an offshoot, it's a technological innovation that I don't think is going to resonate with the public. But I think this is definitely them overshooting.
And I want to make clear what this is and what this isn't, because I was super freaking confused when I first saw this. And the only real information that is available about this is from Nvidia themselves. And I guess we just have to kind of take their word for it. They're saying today they unveiled DLSS 5, the company's most significant breakthrough in computer graphics since the debut of real-time ray tracing in 2018. But even though they're saying this is such a masterful increase in graphics, Nvidia had a conference at GTC, and in this presentation, they do not talk about the graphics at all. You just scroll through the whole thing. Also, my scrubbing performance is insane. They don't talk about this despite it being such a big breakthrough, apparently, because Jensen's got to talk about his AI and everything.
4 elephants. Love you guys.
Okay, so what is this actually doing? And is there any merit to this technology at all? Because we might see the faces and be like, yeah, that looks terrible. And I completely agree with you. So Nvidia yaps a lot on their website about some bullshit. It really doesn't matter. What we really...
Okay, so I just want to go to your comments. Welcome in back, Tai. Hopefully everything is sorted now. So Richie says, OGES Oblivion characters are super ugly. And again, like, I think that's a problem that they should have fixed when they were programming or rebuilding the remake. Was it a remake? Yeah, the remakes. No, it was a remaster. I think they called it remaster. And I hope that they fix this when it comes to the upcoming Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 remakes/remasters. Vincent says, doesn't mean the game will be better. Exactly. This is not going to touch gameplay. This is literally just window dressing. This is them sort of like putting more icing on the cake, or different icing on the cake. But at the same time, the only thing is, of course, if you're the artist that sort of like, you know, that put together the recipe for the icing, you might be a little bit pissed off when somebody else comes in and then adds something that changes the recipe drastically.
Are the same artist pissed off when the company does a remake or a remaster?
That's a good question. It's a very good question. I would actually
like. It's almost like, oh, it's okay if you're gonna do it, but if you're going to change it, you need to go make a remake for like $70 million. Then I'm okay with it. But if you're gonna like just do an upscale version and change it, that might, you know, without making customers pay for it. Well, now I'm upset.
Yeah. So I think, like, for me, based on what you're saying, what I would say, what I would add to that is that, like, well, the human factor to me is important, right? And the fact that the problem with AI is that it becomes really problematic in a lot of facets, because of the fact that a lot of this information that's used to sort of like inform these changes is based on other artists' information or work that chances are nobody paid for, that is just being farmed using AI technology without permissions. So there's a lot of ethical things there when it comes to AI that are very iffy. Now, let's take your example about like remaking, let's say, Oblivion, for instance. So now Oblivion has been out for like how many years, and it's been remade by a studio. So other people are remaking your game. I think people are a little bit more comfortable with that process because it doesn't have as instantaneous ramifications as something like this has. This means that in 6 months' time, in a week's time, in a day's time, we can completely change your art style. For you to remake my game is going to take you years, and my game, for it to be worth remaking.
What's mods though?
Yeah, but like mods are not like from those things are not official.
Yeah, but like, well, how's that relevant then? Because, for example, I don't mean relevant to the official way. Sorry, what I mean is like, okay, but when Bethesda says, yeah, you can use mods for our game, that's cool, right? But then my response to that is, what's the difference between them saying you can use mods for our game and them saying we're going to release a patch? Because a mod could be a patch in theory, right?
Okay.
You know, the mods are out and you can download it, but that's cool with it. You could turn a Resident Evil monster into Thomas Attack Engine. You could make a character that I created who is slim. You could obviously make her now thicker and all these kind of things, right? And they're cool with it. They don't block that. They don't say, but what's the difference between a company saying, well, we're going to give you the option as well to have this?
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? And again, this is a very nuanced discussion, but like, this is the thing. First of all, there's a lot of developers that do have or take exception to mods, that block mods, like make sure the developer, if they're not comfortable with it, they tell the developer to stop the mods from being made. And historically, because of the fact that, again, this is being done by people, a lot of people are comfortable with it. Like, a lot of game developers come from, like, for instance, the gaming community, and they pretty much comfortable with it. But you do get people that are not comfortable, like that PlayStation game that came out, I think, last year, where they said, nope, we don't want mods on our game, so we're not going to release it on Steam, or we're going to sort of disable or block mods. Same thing that, for instance, that for a long time, for Skyrim, I think Bethesda did that with their mods, and went out of their way to sort of like prevent people from using mods in their games, especially on things like consoles. So, and even if you look at the deals, Tai, like for instance, for mods to work on games like Starfield, there's been so much sort of like back and forth between the gaming community and Bethesda to come out and work out a deal where this is sort of works out favorably. Here, they can just make changes with, they don't even have to get your consent. There's no conversation to be had. They can just flick a button and do this. That's the difference. Like, and on top of that, it's not other people who are sort of like, you know, passionate about the thing, and you know, who are putting in hours.
Sorry, real quick, can they flick a button and do it?
Sorry?
Can they flick a button?
Well, can you now go on to, for instance, Grog, and put an image of yourself and say, paint me as a king?
Yes, you can.
So this technology, basically what he's saying is that, yes, this is what this technology actually is. It's not doing anything to do with the actual game. It's using, and then he goes on to explain this, it's using almost the exact same generation technology that you use to make your pictures or your filters on all these other apps.
Okay, but from a fundamental point of view, is that what's happening? Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
Wait, hold on. Let me take a step back. Is DLSS 5 an application that you can download, and then you can then open up your, let's say, Starfield game and run it through DLSS 5, and then you get all these modifications and AI looking features? Or is DLSS 5 something that's actually implemented into the game itself, which you can then turn on and off?
No, like, again, when you say implemented in the game, explain.
If Capcom says our game isn't using this, like, can they say that?
Yes, absolutely. They can say we don't want this technology used.
Okay, then.
So the argument here is not about the
response. There is
right?
like, then what is the, like, what are we?
So the pushback is from the artists themselves. That's what I'm explaining. It's like, it's from the game artists themselves. They're not. A lot of them came out, including people that work for Capcom, saying they were not told about this.
Yeah, but like,
if they were told about this, they would have actually.
Wait, but that's because they're like a normal dev. Not every dev is going to be told. Obviously, the seniors are going to know about it.
The people that made the game, who created those characters, who helped, like, even like they said that they were not informed about these changes.
I don't know if it was about the people who created those characters were informed about these changes. I don't even know if, like, I don't know if that's relevant.
So okay, so your boss takes your work. So, like, for instance, let's say you worked collaboratively on a project. Would you be okay with your boss taking your work and presenting or changing or making changes to your work, and then presenting that as the work that you originally created? Would you be okay with that?
Huh.
Okay. So let's finish the video, and then, like, yeah, because it's a very nuanced topic. I hear where you're coming from, and I'm not disagreeing on you on principle, but I'm just saying I get where they're coming from as the people who create the work, right? I get their concerns as the people who create the work. Now, how that affects me as a customer, that's a very different question altogether. Because again, even now, like whenever you use any of these apps, whether you use Midjourney or you use Grok, it's work that has not been paid for from other people. And unfortunately, all those artists that created that work, it's very difficult to take anyone to court or to hold anyone responsible. But as, like, for instance, if you are WB and you own Superman and you see the Chinese using their AI technology to do that, you can flag it and stop it. But if you're a smaller artist where your work can just using, like for instance, because your work is on Google, Google can just use your work to train their AI, you have no say in it. So there's ethical things there that are very wrong. And now it's going into gaming. It means that we don't know if they can start, if NVIDIA can do this, it means that tomorrow AMD can do this. It means that the day after that, other developers, to the point that it will even become public, where people will be able to use this technology to do what they want to games. Like, going back to your example, just because you can do this now with, like, let's say these select games, it means that tomorrow, because the technology exists, people will be able to do this with mods. Meaning that you can create prompts to change people's games. Is that right? Like, we benefit, like, I'll benefit, like, hey, yeah, now I can just put a prompt in, and that's great. But then there's the ethics of the matter as well.
No, man. So
but anyways,
I was looking at the devs who were blindsided by this. These are not artists, though. It just says developers, like people who are like working on the game. But let's say, for argument's sake, it was some of the artists. I guess my confusion here is that if you're making an art, right? So let's say you made one of the Concord characters, and then your director says, "No, change this." You will change it.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so if the guy says, "Okay, you know what, this is the thing you made. I ain't really feeling it, but it's okay. But I'm gonna give gamers or whatever it is the option to make it more enhanced or whatever it is, blah blah blah, through some technology." Like, I don't understand what the offense is, because if the director told you to change it already, you're always gonna change it anyway.
Okay, but like, I get that because they own the IP and they can do whatever. Like, Capcom is within the rights. No one is saying no one is questioning their right to do this. People are questioning the ethics of doing this and what it might.
What do you mean? Like, wait, like, this is where so like, I can almost, even to an extent, understand why an artist is doing it, but why is a consumer complaining?
No, the consumer. This is not consumers we're talking about here. We're talking
no. But I'm seeing the backlash from consumers. Like, no, the backlash is mainly coming from consumers.
No, the backlash is coming from everyone.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, in that segment of everyone, why are those consumers, who is part of the everyone, complaining? What's the problem?
Well, I mean, it could be because that they support those artists. I don't know. I can't speak for
They're
anyone.
the same people who will support those artists, and when those same artists make a game that doesn't have the bigger boobs or doesn't have the sexy character that they like, they'll say, "Well, who's this for?" Like, I don't.
Yeah, but again, we're generalizing
these people,
right?
To be honest with you.
So that's the thing. We're generalizing, but I'm just saying.
I think the pushback is primarily coming because it looks AI. However, if it looked good, or if it didn't look like AI, no one will be complaining.
You don't think this looks good?
I think people have an issue with AI looking.
Okay. So
for example, if this happened 10 years ago, people wouldn't be complaining.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you. Yes, because 10 years ago we weren't in the current situation. Let me ask this question. Do you think it's ethical for people to be able to generate work using other people's work that's not been compensated for, that's not been paid for, simply because of the fact that they have access to people's information? Do you think that's right?
No, I don't think that's right. I think it's a bit nuanced, though, but I don't think it's right.
But that's what I'm saying to you, is that this whole conversation is very nuanced. So you can't, even now when we're talking about these guys, right? This is not just, it's a bunch of gamers complaining. There's a huge subsect of the development community. Let me not just say artists, right? You're right. It's the development community. The backlash is from everyone. there's not like if you can find me one outlet, Tai, a reputed, because even DF Foundry within their own staff, the two guys that went there, which was Richard and the other dude who went there, they were like, wow, this is impressive. Then they release a video afterwards, almost taking back everything that they said, because they went and spoke to their colleagues, and their colleagues were like, I don't know where we're going with this. We showed the video of Alex and the same guy that went there after he had actually thought about what's happening. And we saw what their feedback was. So this is not a gamer thing where gamers are saying, no, we don't like this. We hate AI slop. Universally, the feedback from this has been negative. From the industry, from journalists, and from gamers.
No, it has. No,
So that's the issue, and I'm not on anyone's side. I'm just saying this is not one of those situations where there's like a faction that's saying we love this. Like very few people are for this in the gaming community right now, and a lot of those people are sitting on the other side of the corporate line. Like it's mostly people that work for these organizations that can see the profitability and how much it's going to save them time, so and money in the future, etc. So I understand the business interest from this. I understand what for us as customers it means. It's great for us, but I also understand what it means for the people that make the games and their importance to making those games.
Sure.
So, yeah. So, but again, like, I'm not gonna play Vex's entire video, but I just want him to get to where he sort of answers some of the things that you're talking about in terms of who is these people that are actually complaining about this. But before I go back there, I just want to go to the chat. Rich says something I'm against is ray tracing. Same here, Richie. I really think ray tracing, for me personally, it's never really been a killer app, and it's never really benefited me in any game. Developers forgot how to make good lighting without ray tracing technology. This is true. But again, I think the issue that everybody has a problem with here, Taye, is the whole fact that this is being generated by a machine and it's not being made by people. I think that is ethically why everybody's so... That's why people call it slop, because no one calls mods slop. Because some guy went and took your files and actually sat and tried to program or change things or add things to your game, but like someone had to actually put in work. It wasn't an algorithm, it wasn't machine learning.
But who cares?
Again, then we get into that. So Richie says, remember in Fable you can lay all the NPCs. I'm using the AI slop filter guaranteed. So it has applications, Richie. I agree.
Just to be clear. So if Xbox turned around and said right now, oh yeah, we can take your Gears of War 1 game,
yeah, and
completely upgrade it to you for free, it's gonna look like Gears of War 3 or Gears of War 4. It's not gonna look AI. It will not look AI, but it will look like we actually remade it, whatever it is.
But is it using AI technology? Let's say, let me ask you this question: is it using the same technology, or this same technology as DLSS 5?
I guess that's is it? Okay, it doesn't have to be AI. It could be just a new any other technology that just somehow enhances the face, right?
Okay.
Or whatever.
And then it's made by people, like developers sit and do that.
No. Xbox just pressed the button.
Oh, it's just a button.
Yeah, and they gave it to everybody for free.
That's a good question. Because again,
the problem is it looks like AI. It isn't people.
No,
like consumers don't think like this. It's
because
people.
Again, like, yeah. So you think everyone is against it because it just looks like AI?
Everybody hates AI, so anything that has AI attached to it is going to have a problem. So that's just number one. Number two, people hate AI even more when it comes to the entertainment space because they feel threatened by it because it's going to be soulless slop and all this kind of crap that they all keep talking about, right? Yeah. People also want a bad guy, and AI is just the easiest bad guy, and to say. You know, it went from woke to now. Well, AI is a problem now. Don't be surprised if all these anti-woke channels are switched to like anti-AI channels or whatever it is. But my main thing is this: if AI didn't even it wasn't a thing, AI videos didn't take off. AI didn't take off, and Xbox just said we can turn your Gears of War 1 looking game that came out on the original Xbox and upgrade it towards a Xbox Gears of War 4 looking game. It's gonna have better graphics, all these things. It doesn't look AI. It looks like somebody made it. Gears of War 3 kind of graphics, or Gears of War 4 kind of graphics, free of charge. Will people download it? Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. Because again, because your example is very difficult to quantify, because very simple reasons that it's been done before. They've when they brought out, for instance, the Series X and S, they gave you free upgrades for old games for the 360. They went and added frame rates. They went and changed anti-aliasing and all those type of things. So you've gotten upgrades in the past that have made your games look better. Nobody complained. Nobody had an issue with it, right? So this situation is a little bit unique in the sense that yes, there has been a negative reception for AI because of what AI produces, right? And it's not just what AI produces; it's what is required for AI to produce. But just focusing on what we're talking about right now, people fundamentally have a problem with art that's made using AI, and it's coming to gaming. I mean, Google already showed off the animation where they were saying basically this technology is going to enable us to just make games using prompts. Do you think, and if that's possible, that could be possible in a year from now, that you could get mini games that just use prompts, and there are people that are going to be okay with that. There are people that are going to take exception to that. But I think the majority of the people are going to take exception to that. Then you have to ask yourself the question: if the majority of people take exception to that, then that question that you ask is that, who is this for? Now, where I will agree with you is that if this technology is available tomorrow, the true test is going to be how many people actually use it. Then we can answer that question. If a lot of people adopt it, then the virtue signaling doesn't matter.
I just want EA. Ken Wall's in the chat, by the way.
Oh, is he in here? Yeah, let's get Ken Wall in here.
I just want EA to basically come out and say, here's a new FIFA game, the newest EA Sports game. Here is the game with DLSS, whatever. And there's a game without it. And at the start menu, you can choose to toggle it on or toggle it off. And they'll show you how the game runs side by side with it and without it, and let the consumer decide on which one they want. That's it. And if EA sees that yo, the data says that 99% of you are hell no, we don't want this, that's fine. Now if the data says even 99% of people don't want it, but that's still 1 million people who want to use it, whatever it is, or not 1 million obviously.
No, I agree with you.
Then let those consumers turn it on. Let the people who want to use it.
And I don't disagree with that. Absolutely. Let those people who want to use it. But at the same time, the people who have a problem with it, give them a voice and let them say that they have a problem with it. I don't see the issue with that.
Wait, everybody's problem with me using it?
Sorry? Nobody has a problem with you using it. They have a problem with the technology and how it impacts them. I'm talking about the developer side specifically.
What do you mean it impacts them?
It means that there's less as a developer, dude, I don't need you if I can just do this thing using a button, right? So would you not be upset? Should you not have an outlet to say, this pisses me off because it affects my job?
So basically, the complaint is technology has advanced to the stage where we need less people.
No, I'm not talking about technology. I'm talking about the people. Do they not have a right to have a voice to say, we don't
No, but I'm saying technology in general. That's technology in general, right?
Yes, all technology. If technology affects your job, Tai, do you not have a right to speak against that technology?
I'm not. If technology affects my job, I'm not gonna.
Are you not gonna complain?
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna demanding the technology shouldn't exist.
So do people historically not
People have
complain
the
about
right to do.
technology?
Yes, people have the right to do that. Yeah, I agree.
There you go. That's all I'm saying, is that like all this is, no one is stopping anything from happening. People are just vocalizing their opinion that they don't believe in this. But anyways, Kenwell, welcome in.
Yo, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good. Did you come in the middle of a heated discussion?
I was there the whole time. I was listening on my way from work, and then I continued when I was eating. So I'm called up.
All right, awesomeness. So I just want to go through the chat, and then I'll give you a chance to give you your 2 cents on the subject.
All right, great.
Because this one is an interesting one because of the fact that it really talks about like how AI is going to become such a pivotal part of almost everything we do, especially the way we consume entertainment. I mean, were you part of that episode when we were showing that the Chinese AI and the sort of
last week?
That was was it last week or last week?
I think it was last week.
Was it last week? I was like, oh, it's very well. Yeah. So this conversation is basically that, but for gaming.
Okay. Yep.
Cool. So where was I? Vincent says, of course, it's right. It's evolution. The question is, why should you pay for it? That's a good question. So Vincent largely agrees that there's nothing wrong with the tech. Rachie says, Vega, please don't flex your RTX 9090. We're just models. Complaints are from the potato users like me and influencers farming for attention. Look, all of this potentially could be true. The only thing for me that is an outlier for this is that unanimously everyone is against this except the companies that are part of NVIDIA's partnership to make this. So the litmus test is going to just come down to, are consumers going to adopt this when it's released? And, what the impact is going to be on how people make games, because it is going to fundamentally change how people make games. But anyways, I just want to continue. I'm not going to finish the whole video with Vix, but I just want to continue.
We want to take a look at is this video AI models have rapidly learned to generate photoreal pixels. Photoreal's a bit questionable, but they run offline and are difficult to precisely control and often lack predictability. With every new prompt, basically, they're mentioning video AI. Keep that in mind, because that's basically what this is, which is just terrible. So all the AI slot videos out there that are just, oh my god. Yeah, this is actually an iteration on those, maybe just with some more stability. DLSS 5 takes game's color and motion vectors for each frame as input and uses an AI model to infuse the scene with photoreal lighting and materials that are anchored to source 3D content and consistent from frame to frame. DLSS 5 runs in real time at up to 4K resolution for smooth, interactive gameplay. This is not a very good look. So I thought that maybe they're doing something that they're actually integrating into the lighting systems for the games and using AI to try to improve those, but they're not even doing that. All of the DLSS technologies use these things called motion vectors. So even if you're talking about just upscaling or frame generation, this integrates into the game engine and can see where things are going to move so they can try to make predictions of how the image should end up looking. And the motion vectors really help to keep things stable, especially. Because we've seen a lot of AI videos out there, tons of stuff just morphs and changes because it has no concept of object permanence. And NVIDIA is saying here is they're taking the image and color of the game, so they're looking at probably almost the entire game rendered frame. So you're still doing all of the calculation, it sounds like, before that to make the game frame, and then after that, you're applying this basically filter on top of it to make the game look a certain way. And the reason why it gets some semblance of stability throughout the image is because it's also taking into account motion vectors. So where those colors, where those light sources are going to move, it hopefully can do a little bit better. And also probably because it's using motion vectors, it gives it the ability to run in real time without an insane GPU.
It's using an RTX 5090 to run the path-based version of Resident Evil, but there's a second 5090 that's actually doing the DLSS 5 pass there.
Now, all of the demos that we've seen of this is actually running on two RTX 5090s, which is like $8,000 worth of GPUs right now. Them saying that it is runnable in real time, I don't know exactly how that's going to turn out in the future. I thought that this was more complicated than...
Again, this is not something that's going to be widely adopted very soon. Like, if you ask me, I think, in my personal opinion, I think everyone is overreacting. I would be... I think it was a bigger deal when people could just generate images out of nowhere just by prompts. I think that was a bigger deal than this. I really think that like there's been an overreaction. And again, who's driving this overreaction? It's exactly the same as any other overreaction in the industry. It normally comes from industry insiders who then amplify the voices through the different media outlets. And then that trickles down to the independent creators and then their audiences. So again, this is not a thing that's independent of being created by the very industry that we're talking about. The backlash, just like this technology, is being created by people within the industry more than it is by gamers.
But is basically AI video generation combined and trained with motion vectors from game data. So that's basically how it's trained and what it's doing. And then these are the results that we're getting. Now, if you notice all of the examples that NVIDIA shows, it is like very slow camera movements, zooming into the character to try to show the detail. And this is the best case scenario for them in this situation because it's going to hide any weird garbling or things that could happen because of the AI. Now, this isn't to say that they haven't shown gameplay that's a little bit more faster paced as well, but I will tell you the official stuff that NVIDIA is showing is its best case scenario. So if we find problems in this, it's only going to be worse in real world. What really tripped me out with Grace here is with NVIDIA's most popular image they've been showing. Have you seen her eyeballs? Like what are those things doing, brother? Tweak it out. Like it does not look right, okay? It's not stable. NVIDIA's using this RTX video, and even though it's using motion vectors, one issue with it is not everything in a game has motion vectors. It isn't like a whole polygon thing moving, so it doesn't really have motion vectors as far as I could think. We see the same type of issue with the blinking, also in Oblivion Remastered. So this guy here is blinking and all of a sudden he turns into like an alien and his eyeballs are facing like separate directions. And this isn't like official NVIDIA stuff, or at least they gave Digital Foundry in this case. And this is running on 25090s, by the way. There is some aspects of the image in Resident Evil Requiem that look pretty decent. If you zoom in on the background, you can see that there is a shadow here on this fire escape that wasn't there before. And remember, the original image was also path traced. There's a little bit more lighting detail going on in dark areas of the screen because it is an overcast day, which means the light diffuses out a lot. Like kind of how you're looking at me right now. I have a diffused softbox here, so it makes the light softer, but it also fills in things like shadows. Like if I had a harsher light here, then you would see a much harsher shadow on my face. So because it's an overcast day, RTX DLSS 5, or I want to call it RTX video because that's what it feels like. But it does.
So there's a part I want to fast forward to where he shows something that I think is very important, which is one of these Starfield.
This is what the AI wants the characters to look like. But there's no light sources there. Why do they look like they're edge lit? Why does it look like there's a light directly in front of the player? Like, why does it look like they're like posterized in
So there's I think
sources that just don't exist in the scene? Probably because this is what the AI wants the characters to look like. But there's no light sources there. Why do they look like they're edge lit? Why does it look like there's a light directly in front of the player? Like, why does it?
So
her eye in the scene. Probably.
So if you look at this image, look at this guy, his haircut. So he's got a fade. So then you do your DLSS 5 thing on, and then initially they said that this doesn't change anything. All it does is just add additional light sources or whatever. It improves the lighting. It's not physically going to change the image. But now look at this. And this is something that somebody pointed out. And this is where the cat got out of the bag that, nope, this is using the same technology as what you get on all these other apps that generate images.
Because this is what the...
So look at this. So now this guy, the fade has gone away now. So now his entire hair is grown on the one side where it was fully faded before. So it's using information from elsewhere to populate that specific graphic. It's not using the information that's presented in the actual thing, which is what they initially claimed.
Is it really
AI
faded?
wants the characters to look...
So here's the picture side by side.
No, it's still faded. Yeah.
It's faded.
If you go to the side, the frame before, where you can see the side of his head.
Oh my god, guys. They are making up light sources.
It's not the same.
What do you mean? It's the same.
It is in Starfield. And in Starfield, oh my god, guys. They are making...
Look
Right
at that
there.
fade.
Yeah, so it's
That's
like
a clean fade, right?
Nah, right there. It's a temple fade. At the bottom, it's low, and then it starts to
up light
now this
sources.
Look at that. It's not the same. I'm not the first guy to
Keep playing it.
Yeah, I'm not the first guy to point this out. It's not the same thing.
Keep playing it.
That just don't exist in the scene. Probably because
Man,
this is what the AI wants the characters to look like. But there's no light sources there. Why do they look like they're
right there, right
Why
there.
do they look like there's
That's
a
the
light
same
directly
thing.
in front of the
Same
player?
thing.
Like, why does it look like they're like
you can make an
posterized into the
argument
scene? It just does
like,
not.
oh, it's a bit more clearer now. I mean, yeah. So
I just
bright
don't
and
see
vibrant.
this as,
And I don't know if that's what
I
the
don't see this
artist
as
would
a
be
problem.
intending in this case.
And
Another huge example
do
that they've showed is in
wonder if, like, somebody
Starfield.
could
In
go back
Starfield,
and
oh my
look
god,
at some of
guys,
these games and say,
they
like,
are making up
well,
light
to be
sources
honest,
that just
I wonder if somebody could
don't
go back,
exist
go back and
in.
even say to
Look at that.
themselves,
Look at
like,
that.
yo,
Look at that part. So you can clearly tell that there's more hair there versus
the scene. Probably because
look at that.
this is what the AI wants the characters to look like. But there's no light
So when you
sources there.
freeze
Why
them-
do they look like they're edge lit? Why does it look like there's a light directly in front of the
Wait,
player?
pause,
Like,
pause,
why does
pause,
it look
pause.
like they're like posterized into the scene?
Yeah.
if that's what people are complaining about, goddamn. Like if you want to point out like, yo, the nose went from this to this, the lips went from this to this. But if it's like even if we can even debate the fade, that's what people complaining about.
Yeah, that's
No.
like because of the fact that it's the technology is not doing what they said it did. It's not like it's literally adding information that was not there. It's drawing from elsewhere. It's the same thing that they said with Grace and her face, and the fact that she didn't have makeup on. It actually went and added visible makeup, things like including like for instance eyeliner, etc. That was not there in the original image. So the only thing, and again, the reason that fact that it's using the same technology that you use to generate pictures. That's all they're saying. That's all that argument is. They're not just complaining about that thing that it's inconsistent. They're saying it's using the same technology that you use to generate pictures.
I almost feel like
And
this
it's
is almost like a
inconsistent in
moot
doing
point,
so.
simply because even if it wasn't using the same technology, if Nvidia came out and said it's actually using a different technology, they would still say we don't want it.
But again, like that's a different argument. I'm saying based on the information that Nvidia gave, that's what they're arguing. That's what they're against. And again, and this is my thing here, Tai. This is not. These are the creators that are saying this. This is go to any publication. Find me one publication that actually wrote a positive article about this, and then it's industry insiders that are saying this. So is everyone wrong?
No, everyone's bitching.
Okay, so your opinion is that everyone is just bitching, but everyone shares this outlook.
No, I think first of all, I think it's a little
That's
bit.
all. That's all. Like,
I think the whole thing, situation is nuanced, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of people jumped out the gate attacking this for many different. They just didn't want to like it because it looked AI. That's just what it is, right? Which is fair. I mean, that's okay. I don't mind people hating things. Lighting is a legitimate complaint. Look at the Halo C remaster. The different lighting completely changes the vibe of a bunch of levels. I mean, there you go. I don't mind people. I don't mind people not liking it per se, but I'm almost just like, just turn it off then. Don't use it.
But then, what is your problem with them complaining about it?
It's an overreaction.
Yeah, it's an overreact, but it's not about overreaction, but it's also a case of like, I don't know. I'm very just keep it moving. If you don't like something, just keep. But
like most people don't work like that. Hey, you know this.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was
like
that's why the internet is ass.
Exactly.
You guys love to bitch and moan, man.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying is that this is the added but you cannot ignore that and say, well, it is the way it is. I'm not saying I'm for it.
Do you know why I love this so much? Because I have, like I told you, I have my casual group of friends, and these guys, they've bought Crimson Desert, they've bought 5 new games in the space of like a week. And they always buy, and one of them was like, yo, should I buy Crimson Desert? The other guy bought Citizen Sleeper recently. Another one just bought Cyberpunk 2, because the other guys recommended it to him. Like these guys that actually buy games, none of them know nothing about this DLSS 5 stuff. And I love them so much for it because they're just like, why? Who cares? Like, okay, can I turn it on? Can I turn it off? Okay, cool, whatever. Let's move on. But
they're not part of your community. That's the difference. Like, they're not part of the gaming community that you argue with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
they really much like they sample or they treat entertainment the same way most people treat movies. You go to the theater when you see the poster. Okay, it's a cool movie, and that's it. It's not a hobby for them. Whereas a lot of people that are like, for instance, film hobbyists have had a problem for the last decade in terms of how films are shot, how the picture and the framing is. Most people just want to watch Netflix. So again, I'm saying this is what the community, the gaming community, is saying as a whole. And funny enough, for the first time, the backlash is not originating from gamers. it's coming from top down, from people that are within the industry. And that's my point, is that this is what makes this different. This is not a bunch of gamers complaining about a thing. It's people within the same companies. It's the same publications that have been against gamers. It's everyone agreeing on one thing, that they don't like this.
Okay.
AI,
I think
they just need AI. People just hate AI. I feel like they don't really fully understand it, and they just keep coming at it. Like, I don't understand how this is being coined AI slop.
And again, I think for me, for instance, I was saying to Ty earlier, this would be great for me for the new Starfield. If they said that there was a button to turn this on and off on the new Starfield, I would definitely use it.
Starfield looks like shit to me.
Exactly.
Like, Bethesda games just don't look good. So out of all of these, like the Resident Evil one looked weird because it was already realistic. Like the game looked pretty damn close to being realistic. But the Starfield one, I felt like it really benefited Starfield.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because of just how bad the original
I will say Nvidia messed up as well, because if they had just said, let's just show Starfield, and let's just show some environments, everyone would have been like, oh, okay, that does look kind of good.
Yeah.
But when you start messing with Grace, Resident Evil, and all these other ones, then you kind of get into like a messy territory. And I think somebody did something else where they actually took out some of the is it like some elements of the AI or whatever it was, like whatever it was doing, and it looked more like in the middle, like a cross between what Grace is and what Grace is in the DLSS. And that was actually, that one looked more like, I don't say it looked better, but like it looked less like AI. So I think people were happy enough with that one as well. So I would say Nvidia just didn't they just didn't read the room very well.
Yeah. So again, like Nvidia,
but also keep in mind, Nvidia's probably not like, I know you're saying like this is happening everywhere in the industry, which maybe there's some truth there to some extent, but I think maybe Nvidia just didn't realize that gamers were like this. Gamers were monebags, and they were gonna like backlash.
Well,
at this
I mean,
extent.
To gamers' defense, Nvidia is also an asshole company to gamers, and they've been asshole companies to gamers for a while now.
Well, you think they're an asshole company to gamers? Is it recent because they started to like move towards more of like?
Yeah, because they don't need gamers anymore. So again, they're also being assholes. I mean, that's not even an arguable point in terms of like the sort of return on investment when you buy a new graphics card.
You know what I also say about that, which I think is fun. Shit.
Oh
yeah. Sorry.
So, my thing cut out. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
So when you say like Nvidia's asshole to gamers, I want to say that's not true. And the reason why I say that, I know why you're saying it, so let me know. I'm gonna disagree with you. The reason why I'm saying it's just not true is because no gamer gives Nvidia extra money for purchasing a product. They don't say, we like you so much, here's an extra $50 for being good. The relationship is completely transactional. If a different company came along and said, here's Nvidia's tech, and we're gonna give it to you at $300 cheaper, they're gone.
Exactly. So how does that work? So my question to you guys is like, how does that work differently from the gamer?
What do you mean?
In the sense that like, so if gamers have a gripe or a complaint about a company, and then they decide that, you know what, as far as we're concerned, we're good with you. So we're not going to give positive feedback or any sort of like positive, like, even when we cover you, we're just going to write negative stories about you. How is that wrong on their side?
But I didn't say it was wrong.
So that's what I'm saying. Is that it works both ways. You're absolutely right. It's all transactional, and people have the right to react the way that they react. And if they want to post like a million different posts on Twitter in terms of like how much they hate Nvidia and DLSS, they're allowed to. It's part of the transaction.
No, true.
But I want to know from I just have one more thing I want to show, then we can go to Crimson Desert. I want to know from Kenwell. Kenwell, what is your overall thought about not just this AI, even the stuff we were watching last week? Do you think... Actually, no, I'm not going to even pose a question to you. Just what are your thoughts when it comes to AI?
So when it comes to AI, I like the fact that just in general, it's a tool that can make life easier and take off the burden. But within that, I do sympathize where it's going to replace people. It's going to replace people that have worked on this for a very long time. It's going to replace the craft. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm more optimistic when it comes to AI, where it's going to improve things. Instead of having to do tedious tasks like QA, that type of things, I think it can automate that stuff. And optimistically thinking, I'm hoping it can speed up development. AI is one of those unfortunate things where, because of there's so much other external shit that's going to mess with it. So our current system, capitalism, if it fits within the capitalistic system, then I don't know if it's going to be that great, because the metrics within capitalism to make sure that the system is running is really bad. So needless to say, back to the DLSS 5.
Yeah.
It sucks that it is going over the artist's work and stealing other work from the other models that it's going off of. But it's one of those things. Technology change is going to happen regardless. This is one where I understand the developers, but how many times I was watching Jaffe say it, he was like, if you don't have a thick skin, if you don't know how to keep changing, evolving, learning, then you're not going to be successful in your craft. There's so many times that you get shot down. The DLSS 5, where it loses me, is you still have control. So when the devs want to turn it on, like, I'm assuming they're going to be able to tweak and create their own version of what they want the DLSS 5 to look like for their game. So I don't see the issue with it. And then lastly, I feel like everybody, when it's almost like the woke DEI word, they're going to keep using it, apply it to literally everything until it loses its meaning. When it actually gets good. For like a lot of people, the way I know a lot of people don't use AI is they always think AI is something where you just type what you want and the first output is exactly what you want it to be. It's never that. It is never that for the most part. When you're writing something, when you're making art of something, a video, it is never that easy. So for you to just like think it's a simple input output, you're wrong, and you don't understand how the AI works. And there's still craft to using the AI. There's still a craft to it. You just don't want to use it because you think it's automatically going to replace. There's a lot of new findings that they're seeing about AI where they're seeing that AI is actually just helping them do more work instead of replacing people. But yeah, in terms of the DLSS 5, people are overreacting because it's a choice. Whenever there is a choice, then I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
No, 100%. I agree with your take, Ken. Well, like I really think it comes down to how we use these technologies. I always remind people that once upon a time, there was a guy that used to operate the lift. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago, but that used to be a career option that I'm going to go and become an elevator operator. So, and look at where we are now. I mean, we're gonna get to the point where we don't need people to drive cabs and all. We know that technology is gonna change. And I always say that, like, even with I look at like how AI is being used now. If you were a good artist 10 years ago, and now you have AI tools at your disposal, let's say when it really became popular around 2022, instead of complaining, as Taya would say, bitching and complaining, you could have used that to amplify your art because you're so far ahead of everyone. Because you can take the stuff that AI generates for you and you can now go tweak that instead of having to go create everything individual, frame by frame or picture by picture. The guys that have used it the most, and unfortunately, this is always the case, the guys that don't complain and use this stuff correctly is always the people that make corn.
Yeah.
Those guys, they've got no time to complain. They're just like, how can I? And I predict this. This is my prediction for the future. Everyone is right now complaining and crying about OF fans, or OF, models and all that day. I give it to you that in the next not even 3 years, let me say in the next 2 years, AI models are going to replace 90% of those girls.
Yeah. Have you seen Instagram? There's Instagram pages where like the models are very good. Like you really have to pay attention to the point where you have to look at their profile, and if it's only pictures of them, that's how you know.
Yeah. And of course it's still got those how I tell that it's an AI model is because of the fact that the AI is not good enough to keep a consistent and this is very important to a lot of dudes, is the measurements change.
Yeah.
So she goes from being a 45 to a 22 in some. And you're like, oh, hold up. You start to see that there's a huge discrepancy in the model.
No, I actually noticed that once. Someone sent me a picture, and I was like, oh, okay, like who's that? And then they sent me like multiple pictures, and I was like, yo, this is AI. He's like, how'd you know? And I was like, because you can, like, the boobs are different.
Yeah.
Like the waist and everything. It's like there's certain angles where like this person doesn't look the same. Clearly, like they've just dropped weight and they've just gained weight. He was like, nah, this ain't the same. This is AI, bro.
Yeah, like their surroundings, like there's always Instagram girls. You always know if they're courtside at a basketball game, they gotta have a shot of, they gotta have a picture of that. Food. If they're not posting that, then that's where it falls short.
Yeah. So there will be ways to tell, but again, it will all come down. Everything comes down to supply and demand. If there's a demand for this, then definitely there will be supply, and it's just like the same way where we are now. So again, if you're creative, you'll find ways to pursue your art. But I just want to show you guys one thing, and then we can move on and we can start diving into this subject at hand, which is the game behind us. While I do this, Kenwell, are you picking this game up? Crimson Desert?
I played it and streamed it.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
You need to invite me to your streams.
Yeah. Were you up at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
I don't know what's 7 p.m. Like how many hours is that? Like
7 p.m. What's your time zone called?
It's Easter. What is it? It's Central African time, no? It's Central. Yeah, I think so.
African time.
South Africa. Loke knows this because he's been doing Central. I think it's Central. Let's see. South African Standard Time. Yeah. I think it's no.
What is that?
It's SASTA. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Oh shit, that's not that bad. I think it's 7 a.m. I mean, 1 a.m. 1 a.m. your time.
1 a.m. Like, well, which day? Like in the middle of the weekend?
I did it yesterday, Thursday, the day it released. So Thursday is a work day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would have been fast asleep by
I
then.
bet. Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to stream a little bit early, so I'll definitely send the invite.
No, definitely like drop me a something on X, and then I'll definitely
for sure.
I'll come join. So there's just one last thing I wanted to show you guys. There we go. So this is the image. So this dude is called Daniel Owen. So he's like a really, really super geeky guy. He sort of like is he actually sent in he had an email exchange with someone from NVIDIA, and then this is one of the things. So this is one of the core images. Okay, so I don't know, I lost everyone there for a second. So can you see the image on my screen in terms of what I was talking about, the fade?
Yes.
So basically it's these sort of things, and of course you have to really sort of like give it a deep look for you to sort of notice these things. But this is what he was talking about. Look at how clean that is. Look at how and then look at like that hair detail is added back. So this is a question he actually posed to NVIDIA, and then they gave him an explanation, basically confirming to him that they're using, because they said that basically, and I'm very, very I'm a novice when it comes to this in terms of how he explained it, but he's basically saying that they're using a form of the same 2D rendering, but basically pulling information and then using that predetermined information to populate what you see on this. So it's not even using stuff that's part of the engine. It's using information that it has from its whatever, like where it draws its main data from, or its main data source from. But okay, I think let's move on to the topic at hand, which is Crimson Desert, and then we'll go around. Let's start. Tai, do you want to go first?
Oh, is Mike muted?
No, I think he's probably stepped out. So okay, cool. Let's start.
Hold on,
with
wait.
you
So
then.
what did NVIDIA say?
Okay, I'll play the video. Do you want me to play the video?
Publicly available examples, it looks like
You don't like this guy. You think he's nerdy, but like, yeah.
the generative AI inferring response.
Oh, yeah, he
DLSS 5
definitely-
is trained end-to-end to understand complex scene semantics such as characters, hair, fabric, and translucent skin, along with the environment lighting conditions like front-lit, backlit, or overcast, all by analyzing a single frame. So that last line is key. Remember that yes, DLSS 5 takes a 2D frame plus motion vectors as input. So the only real response to this can be that it tries its best to infer what's happening, regarding lighting, where light is coming from, etc., by looking at that 2D image. Essentially, think of it as kind of like a screenshot of one frame of your game. But that is all it's working off of. So it's just the generative AI inferring something off of a screenshot, essentially, is how I would read that. My next question is trying to get into, so if generative AI is generating an image based on another image, can't it just like change stuff? For example, this character here. So here's how I phrase the question. You say that with DLSS 5, the underlying geometry and textures are unchanged. However, in one of the publicly available examples, it looks like a character grew hair in a place where it didn't exist before. This seems to be a change to the model geometry and/or textures rather than just an enhancement of the lighting. In other words, it seems like an AI image generator reinterpreting the character, which can cause actual details to be changed. It also appears like some characters gain makeup that the original model did not seem to be wearing, which seems like changing the underlying textures. And I included this screenshot in the email where I show that this Starfield character seems to not have hair right here. And after DLSS 5 is applied, it seems to have hair here. So in other words, it seems like an AI image generator is just taking this image and making a new version of it that does not fully respect all of the details of the character that was in the original that was in the original game. So the response is the underlying geometry is unchanged. Also worth mentioning, this is a very early preview of the tech. Okay. So they're saying the underlying geometry is unchanged. So here's my issue with that response. So by underlying geometry, all this model actually understands, due to the response to my first question, is it has this picture. It literally just has this picture to work off of, as well as a motion vector of where it's moving toward, where objects in the scene are moving towards in the next frame, right? So that's all it has to go off of. So it looks at this. I think what they mean by underlying geometry is the game engine itself and what it's rendering. Yeah, it's not changing the geometry the game engine is rendering, but then it generates an AI image that is interpreting that using generative AI. Generative AI is trained on a bunch of like images. What generative AI is doing to make this face is it has been trained on a bunch of faces. So it is going to take this face and it's trying to make a version of this face that has, they say they're trying to train it on more realistic lighting. And I mean, I would argue that the output image is more photorealistic, but it's also taking in the way other people.
Like, is it normal to say that it's taking this character's face, but it's also saying to itself, well, just to make this as accurate as possible and to flesh out the details in the best way possible, we're also going to use our database. So for example, when you go and make a blade of grass in a game, you're not programming every single single grass, but there is probably a database that has a reference for grass. Like, I guess, is that such a problem? Go ahead.
I get exactly what you're saying, because this is what I'm thinking. The artists who made this character, can we say, if it was up to them, they would want this fade as detailed as possible, like the one on the right? If they could get it done with the graphics and the engine, there's no way an artist that is drawing this character goes like, you know what, I want this fade to be exactly like the picture on the left, and my work is completely done.
And if the person did this, like the one on the left, and Bethesda said, okay, that's what you created, but I don't like you got to do this and do that, like change it up a little bit. Is the artist saying no? They're making the changes. And what if Bethesda says, we're also going to patch it, because you know what, there's some things about the character that we didn't like. Maybe their hairstyling isn't great. We're going to do this, do that. Like Barrett, for example, I think he got changed at some point, right? Is the artist saying, maybe maybe Barrett got changed or whatever. I can't remember if she got changed, but maybe somebody got changed because, hey, for whatever reason, they made somebody lighter, they made somebody darker, they changed their hairstyle. Like, I'm just looking at this like, if this is what it is, the fade isn't as clean cut as the original version. Man, get the fuck out of here.
You got to get the fade right.
The fade on the left. Like, his hair looks like shit. Like Starfield, there's nothing. I don't want, like, if I saw an image of the game on the left and I didn't know compared to the game on the right, I'm like, the right looks hands down way better.
The right looks better.
Not play left.
Like,
I agree.
I'm even thinking about it this way. Like, can you imagine, like, like you have like maybe a character has like a blocky kind of hair, like that's terrible, right? And then now you have strands coming down. Like, the original artist didn't create strands for detail, but now we got strands and detail, which makes it better. And the argument is, well, the original guy didn't make strands, so we need to keep it ugly, bro.
Welcome in.
Do you know what? Listen, here's just my final take on this. Yeah, if you like.
Sorry, Ty, before you go in, I just want to welcome in Cass. Cass, just let me know, like, what do you think? Because I watch your stream. Like, did you touch on this whole DLSS thing? Like, what's your thoughts on this? Is this good or bad? Like, but I think I know. Like, I think you think this is slop. Please go ahead, Ty.
If you want to play the game on the left, please have at it. Go play the game on the left. I'll play the game on the right. That's it. There's nothing else. Yeah,
I agree with you. I'm in complete agreement with you. I'm getting the game on the right. Yeah, you have no argument from me. We're all on the same team. But I'm saying to you that, like, the industry is saying they're the ones complaining about this. And I'm just saying it's their right to complain about it. Let's see. At the end of the day, we're gonna have to see where the chips or what is it lie. If this is something that there's a consumer demand for, it will be successful, regardless of what you think. If you're the artist or you work for Capcom or whoever, at the end of the day, the demand will win. But okay, cool. So let's move on. We're done with this stuff. Let's move on to Crimson Desert. All right, you guys in the chat, tell us. I know you've already shared, in terms of some of you said that you've already got the game, you've installed the game. Loke said he's installed the game earlier on before he disappeared. So I want to know from you guys, who wants to go first with the Crimson Desert question. Taye?
So what's the Crimson Desert question?
The question is, are you picking it up?
Oh. I guess Taye has to.
That's the first question. Let's start there. Taye, I know what he thinks. So let's start with you, Ken.
All right, we're finally playing Crimson Desert.
Ken, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I can. Let me go after, because
Sure.
I already picked it up. So.
All right. So when this game was first announced, I felt like this game should have came out years ago, because I was looking at it and it felt like a very Ubisoft-like game. In fact, it looked like Assassin's Creed to a large extent, in terms of the kind of checkboxes, big, huge world, open map. It's like a Ubisoft kind of game. Now, before people take that as a derogatory term, it's not. I like Ubisoft kind of games. And I think people can take Ubisoft-like games and create something unique that is to themselves. For example, I would say Ghost of Tsushima has elements of Ubisoft-like games. Exactly. However, Sony did a fantastic job in imprinting their cinematic feel and containment into the game. Now, with Ghost of Tsushima, the original one, people would say, okay, it was a bit too much like Ubisoft, but maybe with the second one, people felt it was tighter, right? And I think that's perfectly fine. So you can enjoy Ubisoft-like games and be tired of Ubisoft-like games, but like what other people's execution of that kind of game is, right? So that's one. This game, from an artistic point of view, I wasn't crazy about it. I didn't feel from an art point of view it was actually dragging me in. It looked, I don't want to say generic. The main guy looks okay, but doesn't look anything special. Like, I actually don't think the main guy actually looks good at all. Like, I'm not a fan of his look. But listen, I don't play games because a guy is hot or a girl's hot. Like, that's not me. I just wasn't attracted to the main character, and I kind of wondered why they didn't allow you to create your own new character. Especially because if this guy's going to be like a bit of a blank template and maybe he doesn't have like a strong personality, then it kind of makes sense for you to just more or less allow me to just kind of imprint myself into it. So that was an odd decision, especially because they're the same guys who make MMOs. So they're used to character creation. And I know Ushers is the one who kind of actually put me on this talking point a lot. And he makes perfect sense. They should have probably allowed you to create your character. But listen, that's not going to push away from the game. Cool. The game looks great. Graphically, I'm just not, the watch doesn't really attract me. And I've kind of said this before a few times. You need something about your world that is dragging me inside. And there was nothing about this game that dragged me inside. Now, one thing that I kept on seeing was the gameplay. The fighting, the bosses, the mechanics. And I thought to myself, all this looks great from a gameplay perspective. However, I am someone who likes a smaller game. So the size actually put me off. I like a smaller game. And number two, there was nothing about the story that seemed interesting. There was no side characters that I wanted to engage with or talk to. And that all turned me off. Now, at the end of the day, I said to myself, it's probably going to be an 8 out of 10. If you like sandbox games that allows you to do whatever the hell you want to do, fight, explore this huge open world and find dungeons and do things, then this game is probably for you. And in fact, I could see myself playing this game, but I would never love this game. Now that the reviews are out, I think it's kind of confirmed what I always thought this game was going to be. If you like the sandbox, if you like exploration and all these things, perfect for you. If you're interested in a rich narrative, then this isn't probably for you. I don't think it's a bad game. I think the score probably reflects what it is, but I think you could get people who love this game, because if you're looking for those kind of games, huge open world exploration, then this game is probably a 10 out of 10 for you. But if you're somebody who wants something a little bit more streamlined, something that does the basics right, then this probably isn't for you. So that's my take on this game. From what I've seen, I could probably see myself giving it 8 out of 10 or whatever it is. However, I could also see myself knocking it back down, because I've seen from what people have said that it has inventory management problems, it has scaling problems, it has problems with features that are expected that it doesn't do well. It does certain things really well, but there's a lot of things it doesn't do really well, which kind of reminds me of Starfield, with the loading screens, the lack of a map, for example, or the lack of a glossary. I think that's what it's called, glossary. Like things that the fans were kind of saying, like, yeah, like this is cool, but why didn't you include this? Like, why aren't you making my life easier? For example, me and Ushers, you were talking about how Starfield gave you limited ammo. Somebody here was complaining that like the game gives you like limited food, and then the cooking was a bit weird as well. Like, so just things that makes it quite stressful. So in that sense, if the game has these kind of problems, I could see myself actually aligning directly with the Metacritic score. But anyways, that's my take on it. This is from somebody who hasn't played the game and just watched, trailers and gameplay since a couple of years ago, and obviously I watched a couple of reviews.
Kennel, what's your
take?
Right.
So I played about 2 hours and a half of the game, so I did pick it up. And here's what I can say: me and Ty share the same kind of views on like open world games. I like Ubisoft games, but the complaints are definitely valid. But when it comes to open world games, I do like a more streamlined experience. I don't want someone I like the hand holding, but I don't need you pressed up on me like this. Like I don't need that. When the reviews were coming out, not even that, like scratch that. Before the game came out, I knew with a lot of Asian developers, they create open world games that you leave it very open. So you have to do like, they don't explain a lot of stuff. There's just a marker and you got to go find it. And they don't explain a lot of things. So I always knew that was in the back of my head. Then the reviews come out and I hear this and I'm like, well, how much do you mean by like it's not hand holding? Because when I played Dragon's Dogma 2, I had to refund that shit because I had no clue. And then the reviews were saying that, oh, the game is pretty guided and it shows you what to do. I'm like, no, that's bullshit. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this game. I like got stuck in like some jail and I could not figure out what the hell to do. So I'm like, all right, I don't really trust the reviews in this case because I was done dirty. So I boot up the game, and once I get past the opening scene, the game starts showing you like stuff to do. Now, it has the typical stuff where your map has like just the marker, and then there's icons that you could see. The icons aren't very clear. Like even when you get to them, I don't really know. Like it has like some type of image, and I go to try and speak to the person, and then nothing's happening. So I'm like, all right, that's weird. When it comes to navigation, I didn't struggle. The puzzles, I struggled a little bit, but I was still able to figure it out, which is it is a little bit annoying. But overall, like what I could say right now that knocks this game off probably by like 3 points is how long it takes to pick up. Like I shouldn't be playing a game for 2 hours. And this shit, the only reason why I played it for that long was because I was on stream. If I wasn't on stream, that shit would have been turned off so fast because the game starts off with action, and then all of a sudden you're doing puzzles and you're doing slice of life activities. Bros, I did an activity where I was cleaning a chimney. It's like, what the fuck is it? Like, come on, bro. Like, I hate when they do slice of life shit like that. There's just no reason for that to be a mechanic. And why would this be? That just seems like fluff. So like,
you could do that in real life.
Exactly. Like what? Like nobody's trying to get lung cancer, bro. Like this shit ain't the 40s. This shit is not the 40s. So I'm like, okay, all right, but like the pacing is my biggest issue. But worst of all, which is not going to, this isn't going to change. The story. Like I actually disagree with Ty. I think the character looks pretty dope. I think he looked like a definitive main character.
Before you finish that point, I'll just go back like 5 seconds or something like that, just real quick.
5 seconds. I'll go back as you'll tell me when you see what you.
No. Forward. Yeah. Stop. Yo, this is a cool looking motherfucker right here.
Yeah, he do look cool.
If this is the main character, I feel like a badass. Now, Ushers, play it. No, play it.
Okay, cool. All right.
So I'm the main character, and I'm walking around, running around, and then this is a villain.
I'll rewind it
I need to
again
go
for
fight.
you.
No. Keep playing it.
Yeah.
And this is a villain that I have to fight. I'm like, oh, okay, this is like a side character, a villain. So, like, the aesthetic wise, I'm more interested in this product. And I look at like Crimson Desert, and I just think, what happened? Like, ain't you guys like?
My man's got a cape, a full beard. I'm like, he's the typical white character. Like that's I'm like, he's the typical white guy, main character, grizzled.
My issue with it so much is that, like, listen, like we've done this before. Garrett looks cool. Garrett looks amazing. This guy looks like he's like a worse version of Geralt.
He's a throwback to the 360 era, where every character looked like that.
Yeah, like so. Worst of all, though, he is boring, bro. He like this game. What I've noticed so far is it has taken the worst parts of Ubi's Assassin's Creed games. The weird puzzles, the boring side characters. I haven't met one cool character in this game that I'm actually interested in learning. So I'm like, oh, okay, like, why am I following this dude? Because you just know he's part of like this group. I believe they're called the Gray Mains. And like, that's pretty much it. Like they have like one of their, I guess, leaders or one of their comrades dies in the beginning. But nothing, there's nothing to the main character and there's nothing to the story. Shit is just happening and it's just like, see, wink, wink. Here's some mystery, but it's just like mystery only works if you're invested in the character. That's what this game forgets completely. Yeah. So like this game, no matter what, you cannot it cannot be considered to me game of the year because it lacks a lot of basic stuff. Like the pacing, there's just no reason why the pacing should be this horrendous, bro. And the story, why is the story so lackluster? It's weird that it's incorporating like these. I get it, it's fantasy, but then it goes like Harry Potter type shit. It's like very magical to the point where it's jarring. So I'm just trying to get to the more action moments, and that's the thing that I disliked when I played the game. Is looking back of how they promoted it. Every mission you saw, it seemed like this game could have been like a linear kind of game. You know what I mean? Every time they dropped you in the middle of an action. When we saw the gameplay for this, then they finally opened up that this is like almost like an MMO RPG kind of game. But it's like, why did you guys do that shit? Because I was way interested. I thought the game was going to be like that for the most part. I didn't really need all this other shit. And I think that's what I'm going to find out about this game. I think it fools people where it's just like, oh, we have a whole bunch of content, but it's like, is this content really necessary? So those are my thoughts right now about Crimson Desert.
Yeah. No, I agree with a lot of what you said. So what I was playing in the background before was I just this is from the previous game, Black Desert. And I'm like, one of the most impressive things, or the main thing that was a draw to me to Black Desert was the graphics, and it's because of the fact that like the characters, like all those characters that you saw there, those are the predefined models that you get, and then you can choose one, and then you can customize it to be exactly what you want, and it's the most robust character creator in any game. Excuse me. And in my opinion, it was probably the best part of Black Desert is that, because everything else is so complicated. And that's the one thing that I remember why I dropped Black Desert, is that the inventory looks exactly like what you're looking at here now, but it has so many different screens because it's an MMO with different currencies, different things that you have to collect. But the one thing that I feel that for me that would have been a draw, aside from story, because for me, if you want to draw me into your game, you need to the narrative has to be good, right? And the second thing would be, at least you need to have some sort of like choices involved in your narrative. I need to feel like I helped shape the world. And then the other thing is aesthetics. I'm very clear about the fact that I'm just like most people. I'm superficial. I like shit that looks good, right? Give me an option to be able to determine what looks good to me. That is, to me, the easiest way to get out of this old talk about like, well, this character looks too progressive and this character looks too guna, whatever. Like, the only way to get out of that is give people the option, and then Jeffrey also always says this as well, is that give people a chance to make the character. Then you stop that conversation dead. Then everyone gets to decide what they want to see in the character, and that's it. In terms of the game, I don't really see the appeal when it comes to gameplay. Like, for me personally, like, it's everything it does is something I've seen another game do, and that game did it better. And like, my thing is, okay, cool. So what are you offering? You've got all these mechanics, like you've got stuff from Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. You've got things from Assassin's Creed. You've got things from The Witcher. But like, what is your value proposition? What are you offering me as someone that plays these type of games? What is your unique niche thing that you are promoting to me? Like, for instance, The Witcher was the whole sort of like, well, you can approach the stories from any perspective and it'll progress you through the game. So the narrative, regardless of how you approach it, which missions you do win, you still progress the game, which was very unique at that time. Assassin's Creed, I suppose, it's freedom. The fact that you can do anything and go anywhere and still play the main game. Graphics are great. It's all the stuff that you're familiar with. You've got the parkour. I think, yeah, for Assassin's Creed game, the main thing is probably parkour and being an assassin. Those are the things. And I can go on with Breath of the Wild, etc. So I wonder what the main selling point was of this game. Like, you can't be a jack of all trades and do everything and just not be good at anything. So I think Cassie disagrees. Rachel says, I need hand-holding. I need a son like Atreus that gives me answers. I need a yellow paint like in Stellar Blade. I need an arrow pointing me to the direction, and I need fairly given tips every 15 seconds. A lot of people feel like that, Richie. You're not the only one. A lot of people play games like that. And again, the older you get, the less time you have to do this. Unless you game with your kids, and then again, like, the kind of games you're going to be playing are not this, but you just don't have time for you to be figuring out mechanics, dude. Like, you need things to be a little bit more straightforward so you can get to the point. So not everybody has time, like, and not everybody has bright kids like Atreus that are going to show you around like old man Kratos. So what Cassie says is that, God forbid we have stoic men like Jin or Cliff in video games. no one has anything against Stoic Man, Cassie, but we've been here before. Like, I feel like go back to any game that we grew up playing, whether it was the PS2 era, the 360 era, we've always had character. This dude is the prototypical video game character. And if you're into this and you missed this and this is a throwback for you, I can see the appeal if this is the sort of hero that you needed. This is like the dude from GTA 3, right? I can't remember his name, who never said anything. If you want to throw back to that, that's cool. But like, a lot of us have now gotten used to Arthur Morgan. We've gotten used to I'm forgetting the chick from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We've got I was gonna say we've gotten used to Eloy, but Eloy is exactly like this character. She's the female version of this character. Completely blank and uninteresting. You have to sort of populate and fill her in with whatever. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think that, yeah, I would rather create my own character.
Yeah, for sure.
Character
creator. This game definitely looks like a character creator kind of game.
I'll give you kind of like an like I think this game is going for something different, right? I think that's fine. I'm hearing, I see Fuzzy said that, like, this was never advertised as a linear like game, and I'm like 100%. I think I don't want to say where this game falls short, because when I say fall short, I mean for me, as somebody who wouldn't necessarily mind even an open world game to some extent, is that I'm always looking at you and saying, like, what do you do that is uniquely different, that is a draw than other games? And I think Osha, you said there was nothing that really attracted you. For me, one of the reasons why Assassin's Creed people like it is because it is a huge open world like game, but it's very stealth focused as well. Like, it's supposed to be stealthy, right? You know what I mean? But people even get tired of that because they feel like it's not stealthy enough. So I look at this title and I think, what could they have done like differently that could have attracted me a little bit more? And there's nothing I can really think of. I think what they really just wanted is a huge sandbox with different mechanics, different abilities, and they just said, go have fun. And that's fine, but I just don't think that's a compelling reason, at least for me anyway, to invest that much time in your game, especially when your game is a huge open world game. I play, like, Clear Obscura, for example, is very tightly focused, and they said the unique aspect of our game is this. We're not taking other RPG elements. I mean, that's cool, but the pirate system is what's going to make our game, different. I feel like the game probably needed something like this for me to really, like, to hook me in. And I can't see any gameplay element here that I'm like, oh, that's new. It feels like it's a bunch of different types of games, like a Zelda, an Assassin's Creed, maybe even a Ghost of Tsushima, all these different types of games, and it's saying to me, like, okay, here you go. And yeah, I think that's just the only reason why I'm just not that interested. But listen, to those people who like it, then good. I'm happy for you. I don't think the game is bad at all. I think the game looks good. It just isn't for me.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, you go.
No, I was just responding to Cassie.
Oh, sorry, wait. I actually just forgot. I was actually about to add this away. When I see Rebel Wolves game, the guys who are making The Witcher.
Yeah. Yes.
That looks good, bro.
Now, here's the thing about that game that I'm just, because that game's gonna be open world too. Yeah, that game is doing something different. It's saying there's a time limit in how you play the game and you can survive. Well, I think it might be 20 days or whatever it is. So there's already a hook there. During the nighttime, you're a vampire, and during the daytime, you're a human, and you have different abilities. So already I'm like, oh, okay. And I saw the combat, it's like, it's you have your typical stance, but you switch the joystick left or right to kind of block, attack, etc. Like, already that seems more interesting. It seems like there's like unique or there's at least different concepts being put together that is adding towards the overall gaming experience. Whereas I think when I see this one, it feels like they just took a lot of parts from different titles and they said, here you go. And I think that just leads to a game being like, how did they call it? It's a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. I definitely get the sense of that. Like, what drew me in this game was the big ass action sequences. And that's why I was willing to give this game a chance. I was like, this looks like a dope power fantasy kind of game where it checks the boxes with all the typical fantasy stuff. But then you have shit like this. This is what I was talking about. The cleaning the chimney. What the fuck is this? Like, that's not good gameplay. So it's definitely what you guys are saying. Just like it doesn't. It's good in a lot of areas, but the great things, there's very few things it does great. And I think that's worse than being great in some aspects, being really great and excelling in this system of the game compared to just being good and just this just seems like you're just content slop. Like you could argue that.
Yo, I saw what Jason Schreier said, man. He called this game slop.
I think that was a little bit harsh, but like,
yeah, it's a little bit harsh, but it's like,
yeah,
I definitely agree. I don't know I don't really know what's gonna happen in the future. I want this game to succeed. To be honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I wanted a game to play before 007, so I really want to see it. But that's a very good point about Blood of the Dawnwalker.
Yeah, like I'm watching Blood of the Dawnwalker right now, and I'm just like, oh yeah, gameplay looks, it looks unique. Well, unique differently. It looks I'm looking at just like, the character walking around the city. The city looks like alive. It feels like.
And let me just say this real quick. It's like this is what disappoints me about a lot of open world games that have weak stories. They like what I liked about Clair Obscur and Blood of the Dawnwalker is the premise. We don't really know, okay, what is the end goal of this story? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying we need a spoiler, but like, we have a very bare bones premise from both first trailers, from Clair Obscur and Blood of the Dawnwalker. But I loved what hooked me with those games is the stakes. In Crimson Desert, there's no stakes, bro. You're like in a typical fantasy world, you're warriors, and then all of a sudden in the opening scene, they don't establish any goal that the characters are going after. They don't establish any. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like you're dropped in the middle of it, but you don't know what the hell you're dropped in.
Yeah.
But like with Blood of Dawnwalker, you have to complete this mission before the time runs out, or else. Like that's simple enough. And then Clair Obscur, it's like the paintress. Like these are heavy ass stakes that pull me into the story to go like, I want to know how I'm gonna defeat this thing in this time limit, or what's gonna happen if I don't beat the time limit. So it's like those things you need, and Crimson Desert severely lacks that.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. The game was
for me, I was just thinking about
copies. Sorry, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. So you're saying it sold how many?
The game is, I think it's sold over 2 million copies already. They've already announced.
Yeah.
Listen, I know the stock price went down. Yeah, but like the game was always going to sell well. Like there was too much marketing behind. Never marketing. There was too much interest behind it for it to not do well. So that was always going to be a given, regardless of whatever reviews said. Now, what the reviews can affect is the tail end of the game, right? But also, I think this is a game where, honestly, they have two choices. Like, listen, I'm watching Blood of the Dawnwalker on the other side of the screen, and goddamn, like this is exactly what I mean. This game should have done something like this instead. But anyways, what I'll say here is that like they have two choices now. They can keep patching this game and literally turn it into what it's supposed to be, like fix all the problems, make everything more streamlined, or like, and to be honest, like I told my friend who wanted to purchase the game, I was like, Crimson Desert 2 is going to be good. It's going to be really, really good, because every single problem that everyone's talking about and complaining about, they will fix it for the next version, and they already have the engine. So I think once they fix it for the next engine, like voila, you're gonna have an amazing title. But right now, like, and listen, shout out to them for a bit, because this is the first single player kind of game, and they're coming from an MMO kind of background. Now obviously we've seen other companies like Shift Up do it, to make like the first game be Stellar Blade, etc. But one thing to note is that like this game is far more ambitious than Stellar Blade. So what done to them for trying? Now you just don't get sales for trying. Like I ain't giving you money because you tried. You know? I mean, like it is what it is. But right now, if you told me, like, you know what, let's skip Crimson Deserts, right, and let's just take everything we learned from Crimson Deserts and make a new IP with the same kind of structure. Let's go back to our character creation mode. Let's go back to our unique kind of, art style with like, the Korean games kind of vibe. Let's actually get somebody to write the story and make it really interesting. I think you have I'm looking forward to their sequel and a new IP from them, 100%.
I was about to say that just like Assassin's Creed, people forget that the first Assassin's Creed was a big dud when it came to the gameplay front, and it took Assassin's Creed 2 to put it in the map. And then back then, the one thing that made Ubisoft very unique is the fact that Ubisoft is one of those companies that really, once they put out a product, right, back then, I don't know about now, they were the sort of studio that actually sort of like, it's almost like they did their homework to see what worked and didn't work. And this was before live services, so they couldn't go fix Assassin's Creed 1, but Assassin's Creed 2 was everything, then some, what we wanted from Assassin's Creed 1. And then from then on, they were off to the races. So if these guys can learn the same lessons from the likes of Ubisoft back in the day for this type of game, I can guarantee you the next game in this franchise is going to be even bigger. It's going to be huge. But to your point, I think, they should keep supporting it, support the players that jumped on, because those are going to be your loyal fan base. Same with this other game. What's it now? I see that they've remastered the original. They've added updates for the original Kingdom Come Deliverance. The first one was ass to play. Unless you're a hardcore RPG guy, that first game was ass to play. Like I don't know who the freaking hell wants to be a freaking an illiterate villager can't even fight. Like the guy doesn't even know. And everyone thinks you stink. Like to me, there was no incentive. Like you come from The Witcher, mind you. You just played The Witcher. Now you're a peasant in medieval Europe, and you have no skills. And the whole game is about you learning how to use a sword, learning how to just do.
Yeah, like I don't want to do that shit. Like I don't like being weak in video games.
Same. Like it's a power fantasy. You're supposed to be Geralt of Rivia with all the powers of The Witcher and all that type of stuff. So again, so my point about Kingdom Come Deliverance is that people that like those sort of iterative experiences where the second game is like day and night, it's so much better. So they could do the same thing with this game and they'll get a lot of success. I really believe that there is a lot of room for them to improve things. But the one thing that they just need to do is for some reason, put the freaking character creator back into your engine. Your engine already does great characters.
Yeah.
Just put it in. Let people create their own characters and not Cliff. What a silly name. But anyways, I think we can move on to the next topic. Is there anything else, guys, that you'd like to add about
your example of I think if someone's gonna make a YouTube video about, hey, Crimson Desert sequel can be amazing, I honestly think your example of Assassin's Creed is perfect.
Yeah.
No.
Really good.
Agreed. So the other topic that we had was Xbox. Xbox, it always comes up. Xbox and the recent iterations and changes made to their storefront. Or not their storefront, but their OS, their operating system. There was a lot of news and there's a lot of positive, positivity from the Xbox community. A lot of people said that, well, this is what we want. We want to see more options to customize the OS, etc. As well as there were a few drops from Xbox themselves. I think on Game Pass, So we can look at those as well. But I want to just start with the changes. So this is one of the first things that Asha has gone out and done. For me, it's okay. Like I got the update, and I was like, okay, cool. It's two-toned, looks interesting, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference to me. It's not something sort of feature that was a big deal to me. But I understand that this is something some people in the community wanted. I just want your takes, guys. Like, is this something that's significant or important?
Hell yes. Listen, I always thought this feature was going to come for the new Xbox Helix, to be honest. And I thought what would have been good is to show it off for Helix and just say like, hey, listen, it's not just green, it's blue, it's gray, it's all these things, and you can have all these cool animations, there if you want. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna have PC consumers, and listen, they're gonna buy because they want to access their Steam. But you could even make it seem more like I don't want to say make it look like Steam, but you could kind of make the color palettes, like give different palettes, right, that could kind of resemble something that they might like. Maybe have like a Halo-like theme, or have a Steam-like theme, or even something more cartoony that looks more Nintendo. Like let people experiment, let people personalize their interface, and I think that would have been a pretty cool feature. So I thought this was really good. I thought it was very interesting that they said like, hey, listen, 2 weeks ago we started to work on this. I saw Major Nelson point out that like, yo, in 2021, I told these motherfuckers, let us do this, and they didn't do it. And I see some posts of people saying things like, oh, wait, does that mean Phil and Sarah weren't listening? Like, what's going on? I think that's a very unfair thing to say. I think the answer could be like they weren't really listening, but also could be that they were trying to spread the resources well. Heck, you could argue that like Phil used some of those resources to buy Bethesda and get some games on Game Pass and get because like what's more important here, you've been able to like change the color palettes, or you get a good game on Game Pass and being able to have it on Play Anywhere, and then to fix the cloud side of things, etc., etc. So I don't think it's fair to really go at them for that, but I guess you can if you want, because it's quite clear that they were focusing more on PC and cloud than the console, especially in the last couple of years, because the console just was, the most telling thing is increasing the price of Game Pass for the console players, and also increasing the price of the consoles themselves. So yeah, but anyways, listen, at the end of the day, I think this is a good thing. I'm actually surprised it came now, but overall, yeah, it's good.
All right, Kenwell, your take?
Yeah, I just saw a video on it. I think it's pretty damn substantial. When I first heard you talk about it, I was like, who gives a shit about this? I'm not even on my Xbox Series. I'm not even on my Xbox Series X. But this is pretty good. I think this just makes this a lot better, because when I first got my Xbox Series X, I was like, I looked for this exact feature to change the color. I was like, what the hell? They still don't have something? Because I had the Xbox One, and it's nice that they added these new color palettes, and it makes the menu looks a lot better. And because I mostly play on my PlayStation 5, when I switched over to PlayStation, starting with the PlayStation 4, I didn't play a lot of multiplayer games. With the PlayStation 5, I started to play a lot of multiplayer games, and I have realized Sony is dog shit when it comes to AI. When it comes to UI, they are shit. I struggle every single time starting a party, how to invite my friends. Everything about the PlayStation UI is just shit to me. I don't like it. It makes me not want to play any multiplayer game. Because I'm playing Ghosts of Yote Legends mode with my brothers and friends, and every single time, bro, there's a struggle to invite somebody. Every single time, I'm like, why is this like so hard to do? And then when you start a party, you have to invite the friend, you have to start the party, and then when you want to invite other friends, you have to go to their name, click into the name, invite, then you have to back out. So I like how Xbox really adds these quality of life updates, because it goes a long way. If you don't know, then of course you're just gonna, this isn't gonna be that special. But knowing what PlayStation has, this is so much better. Because I don't think the PlayStation you can customize this much.
All right. So my next question is, okay, cool. So you guys agree that like she's gotten this little, it might seem small, and like where I agree with you, Ty, is that like I was just playing around with the Xbox UI, and I was actually also playing around with the UI with this new, because they've also included, and I think actually, yeah, this is something to share. Like, so this has been out for a while on beta, and it's coming in April, which is the full screen experience or the Xbox mode. I must say, actually, that Xbox mode works so much better on PC than it does on the handheld. Because your like for instance, I've got 32 gig of memory on my PC, so switching between Windows mode and mobile mode is not a trade smash. You don't have to reset your whole system so that resources can be rededicated and all that. It is so streamlined. It is so straightforward that I was like, wow, this is actually very convenient if you're a controller player. If most of the games that you play on controller, I highly recommend that you go on to Xbox's preview mode. Sorry, not Xbox. Windows's preview mode on their what is it called? Their program, and then download or get the alpha and the beta downloads, and go test it out. I really think if you're a PC gamer and you play with controller primarily, because if you use mouse and keyboard, then this is useless to you. If you're someone that uses controllers to play, this might change your experience, and it's seamless, it's quick, and yeah, it's best example. It's like Steam, big picture mode. The only difference is that you can now use several different launchers across all platforms to launch your games. So yeah, I highly recommend it. So those two things together, I must say, like, you know, they're building up some nice momentum and in terms of like what they promise their gamers, people that are already on Xbox. So my question to you guys is, so if you had to say to Xbox, okay, cool, so you guys have done this and this correctly, this is what I would like to see you guys do next, what would be that thing? So Reichi says, Osha's got beaten by the drunkard at the start of the game. Always happens, Reichi. So I don't know about the party chat on PlayStation. So I think he was answering, I think Reichi, you were answering Kenwell's question about the interface on PlayStation. Guys, are you still there?
Yep.
Kenwell? Ty?
Oh, my
So what would you like?
muted, my bad. With the PlayStation.
So your question was what else should Xbox do?
Yes, what is the, and again, there's a lot of things that Xbox should do, but like as quick as they did this thing, right? What is the next quick win for them?
Let me see.
I would say cancel Starfield coming to PlayStation.
No.
No. To me, I would want a third party. I'd want a third party, not an exclusive per se. I'd want a third party game that's known with the Xbox. Like you get some, well, yeah, like a timed exclusive. Like I would like a timed exclusive for Xbox. But
you guys didn't buy Ninja Gaiden 4. Like, why should Xbox spend?
No, listen. No one bought Ninja Gaiden 4.
Yeah, but like I mean, it was primarily an Xbox. Like,
we might get into Strauss. We might get into Strauss Zelnick at some point. But I'm just gonna relay, I think, some of the points I think Strauss said, and it's something I've kind of pushed a lot these past few weeks. Xbox shouldn't be the biggest publisher. They should be the best publisher. It needs to be a situation where
Yeah, you see how you're eating into our talking points, then, and we're gonna. Oh, but okay, cool. Continue.
No. I mean, we're gonna jump into it. We can jump into it now. Like,
Yeah.
okay. I'll keep it small scale for now. What Xbox should
Yeah.
do next is either they're pushing more play anywhere titles. To be honest, they should bring back the Xbox dashboard, the same one that Cloverell kind of mentioned. I think that's
Xbox Blades.
Xbox Blades. I think that would be a cool fan feature for them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it, really. I think, you can do all these little small gestures here and there, and that's about it. Unless you can want to bring back, Major Nelson, you want to hire people who are really good at front facing, and etc. But that's about it. Now it's all about action. Like, show us what you're going to do that might have a material effect on the actual Xbox ecosystem. The Xbox mode that the just like you're talking about is good, and you're saying like, hey, listen, it actually works pretty well. Keep doing that. Keep improving these things. And when this thing launches, like just don't be in a situation where Ushers is using this thing now, and then when it actually officially launches in April, it's the same thing. Let him just say, oh, let me try the new April launch, and it's like, oh wow, they even improved it even more. These are the things that you should be doing. I hear people are saying how they have to drag some of their pictures from Steam onto the Xbox platform. Make all these things seamless. Make it seamless and keep Ushers within the ecosystem and keep him happy, because you have a lot of players who are, let's say, disenfranchised or pissed at you because you treated them like crap, and the only way to even start to even get them back, and we're not talking about like exclusives right now, the only way to get them back is to do things that will actually make their life a lot better and easier.
I wonder what Sarah Bond is doing now. Sorry, just an intrusive thought that came into my mind. I picture her eating a tub of ice cream on the couch, enjoying her golden handshake. Kenwell, please go ahead.
Nah. I was just like, yo, you got a crush on Sarah Bond? Is that what it is? What? You like Sarah Bond?
You know what? Now, say what you will about Xbox, but they don't miss when it comes to their executive talent. In my book, they're 2 for 2. I'm not hating. I have no hate for Asher. I think she's a wonderful, wonderful woman. Great professional. Oh jeez.
I gotta ask you a question, Osh, just once the stream after the stream.
No problem. Richie says Asher looks like butter, and that the good type of butter, right? Richie, whatever butter means, I don't know what butter means. Kenwell, is that American slang?
Asher looks like butter. Nah, I don't know what the hell that means, bro.
But it's a good thing. Like Richie, I take it's a good thing. So from my side, is there anything that I would like to see them do now I would like to see them fix some of the things that are still broken within the Xbox ecosystem. My DVR on the Series X still doesn't work correctly. It doesn't read my external hard drives, and it's been like that now for over a year. I've complained to support, nothing happened. So hopefully they start looking at those things that were broken or were not working the way that they were supposed to. And just like those are small, like with their budget, like small, you get a small team to go and just address those like annoying things. Oh, another one, you can't have a situation where you have a game as big as this, where there's issues with your distribution on your platform. A lot of people were complaining about like when Crimson Desert dropped, they had a lot of issues on Xbox getting the game. It took forever for it to get it. Versus other players on other platforms like Steam and PlayStation, whereas on Xbox PC and on Xbox consoles, the game just did not want to materialize. Like it didn't show up at the store. And I know this problem because I've seen it with Xbox's own first-party games, especially on Game Pass. I always have an issue on Game Pass where if a game is launching on that day, I have to actually wait a couple of hours after the time that the game launches for it to actually be available. I don't know what causes that on their store, but they need to fix that. So all these minor niggles, like fix that stuff. That's not stuff that you need people, pointing out about your service, especially not people that have like voices online. Avoid that, especially people that talk positively 90%, like Colt Eastwood, 90% of the time of your brand. So get rid of that stuff. Fix it. All right. So I think we are good to go to Strauss. Is there anything else, gents, that I might have missed that you would like to add?
No. Let's head over to Strauss.
I would like to add one thing. I was thinking about something. Yeah. I think it would be a cool, dope move if they announced a Halo spin-off game from a different company.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I'll even go I think that's good for the Xbox ecosystem for sure, 100%. But one of the things that always annoyed me about Xbox is their lack of mobile games. And I know you guys probably don't care, but oh my God, how do you have King and how do you just hit up one of these developers? Just hit them up and be like, hey, listen, you guys make these games, you're pretty good at it. Like what Sony is doing with Nexon with the Horizon game. Here's our IP, do this for us. Hit up one of these developers and just make it. You know what Xbox could do, honestly? They could say, how about we make a gaming version of I don't want to say Candy Crush per se, but let's say Marvel Snap, with all these Marvel, so with all these Xbox, ABK, Bethesda characters, right? You could do that. How about we make a gaming version of Monopoly or whatever it is, except it's a gaming version where this is Skyrim and this is whatever it is. There is so much you can do. Just hit up the companies that actually make these titles and just license your IP to them. Marvel were looking for someone to make a mobile trading card game, right? So they went to the guys, I think his name is I can't remember his name. I think his name is Brian something. He's the guy who created, he's one of the creators of the ABK game. What's it called again? The
Candy
ABK
Crush?
Card game. The card one? The one that's really popular.
ABK.
Yeah, ABK has a card game.
I know what you're talking about.
I forget.
Gee, I know exactly which game you're talking about. Something Stone, does it?
Yeah.
Hearthstone.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
He's one of the creators of Hearthstone, someone who's influential. And he went to create his own studio, and Marvel was all like, "Yo, how about do what you did over there, change the mechanics a little bit, and here's our Marvel IP. Boom, Marvel stuff is created." So I'm just thinking, Xbox, you have the IPs, you even have the childlike IPs. You have Crash, you have Spyro, you have Conquer, you have Banjo. You guys can pull this off. Where are these games? Where's your of Mario Kart? Where's your version of Smash Bros? Where are these games? I have no idea.
id Software, why don't you give them a Halo game?
Oh my God, yes, please.
They have so many
as Arbiter. You could play as Arbiter and fuck people up.
Listen,
they have so many IPs, dude. It's insane. They own more IPs, I think, in gaming because of the fact that they bought Activision, and Activision had so many dormant IPs already.
Yeah,
going back to the 90s, the 2000s, the 90s, and the 80s. I mean, Prototype is part of that family. Guitar Hero. There's so many things, dude.
It just made Doom, and Doom probably didn't do the numbers right. So put them on a different IP. Honestly, you could put them on a spin-off of Call of Duty. You could put them on Halo as well, and just tell 343, y'all just keep doing remasters and remakes. We don't trust you enough yet. Let's see how those remasters work out, and then we can do something. Or you can say 343, you guys work on the multiplayer side of things. You can really use this IP. Listen, if it says we don't want to make Halo, you say tough fucking luck, bro.
Yeah.
Do your fucking job. Like I ain't paying you to make these decisions. I'm telling you what you want, what you got to do. Like so, Forza Mobile. Oh my God, Raichi. Yes, Raichi. Yes. This is so bad.
There's a lot of layups, bro. A lot of layups.
Where is the Sea of Thieves mobile game?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who's running shit in that company? Like who's in charge?
No, it's Matt
Who's
Booty.
making these decisions?
Matt Booty.
Man, I'm so like, just listen. Let's just move on because I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting heat. I'm sweating just thinking about all these opportunities, man.
No, I agree with you guys. I completely agree with you. And again, like they don't even have I mean, ID doesn't even have to go that far. When last did we have a Quake game? Like they could literally, I mean, Quake Arena is still one of the greatest or one of the biggest multiplayer online games that has ever been made in terms of like shooters. Like they can literally release a cross-platform Quake Arena 4 game that works on mobile, works on console, works on everything, and it has battle royale elements. It has all that stuff that people remember from Quake Arena and then some. Like again, like there's no shortage of IP. It's just a matter of imagination. IP and money. Like the main thing is just the talent and the skills to be able to deliver those games and the vision to actually make those games. That's it.
Yo, Raichi says, where's Guitar Hero mobile phone? Just like there's already games where you could tap, all that kind of music stuff. But Guitar Hero is a brand name, bruh. And your Xbox, so you can actually license some really good music. And because it's a live service situation, you can just license some of these really popular tracks for like 1 year or two. You know what I mean? And then just advertise it. Like if you're a Guitar Hero, you will get the brand recognition, and you have other gamers downloading it just to check it out as well, right? That's number one. And then number two, Flight Sim Mobile. Jesus Christ! Like, where is the Flight Sim mobile game?
I don't know about Flight Sim Mobile.
But listen, it's
you need to pitch that to me.
I mean, it's Flight Sim on your mobile phone. Like, what do you want?
It's a simulator, though. Like on a phone, do you think that would work?
It's okay. Put it this way, yeah. You make it like obviously free to play, right? Mm-hmm. And remember in Flight Sim, there was all these the new one you could douse fires.
Yes, I remember those little mini game things. Yeah,
include way more mini games and include mission objectives. Like every day, fly from Nigeria to to Spain or whatever it is. Do all this is like make it like an arcade game, right? Yeah. And for those people who don't want it to be arcadey, just press a button and then make it more of a flight simulator. But remember, it's a free to play game. Now, it's not going to be the biggest selling free to play game that they're going to make. However, is there anything else like Flight Sim on a mobile phone? Like, just give it a shot. Show us that you're actually trying to actually like bring in more money. And this is obviously, we're going to go into this maybe in the next talking point. But the reason why Xbox is where they are today, it's not because Avowed didn't do the numbers per se. It's not because Outer Worlds didn't do these numbers. It's because a lot of games beforehand didn't do those numbers.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, like the problem with like Xbox, or the fundamental problem that they had is that every release was carrying the burden of all the failed releases that came before, or the releases that failed to materialize before. So now, like it's not like you've not chipped away from the debt. The debt is more. So every game that comes out has more to pay. Hence, it can never live up to expectations, unfortunately. That's the thing about life. It's about momentum and building on your wins. If you can't build, especially in the gaming business, you need to build on your wins. I agree. But anyways,
and here's where the vicious cycle. I'll make it real quick. And here's where the vicious cycle starts, because you don't get a win, therefore you don't bring in new console players, you don't bring in new Game Pass players, and you don't bring in sales. But what happens is your opponent, Sony, they just dropped God of War 2018, so they bring in new console players, they bring in more sales, and they bring in
your players.
Yeah, and then they're bringing your players. But here's the thing, now bringing in more casuals, and more casuals joins them, which means they get a more 30% cut. They now have more revenue to blow than you. Then they use that revenue to make your life harder 100%. By then getting games like Final Fantasy 16. So now you're actually on the back foot. But that's okay because your next game is coming now, so you can, reset the whole situation. But then you drop Pentiment.
Yeah.
Now, and then they drop Horizon Forbidden West. So now you're even more on the back foot, and the vicious cycle continues and continues and continues until you get to like 2013, and Satch's where's... Go ahead.
Pentiment, I hear what you're saying. Get it. But then you drop a banger like South of Midnight.
And now you're even further back. Now you're even further back because you just dropped South of Midnight. And then finally your big games that's supposed to save the day comes along, and it's Outer Worlds 2, and it doesn't do the numbers.
Oh god.
And then and now we're in the place where like Sasha's looking at you being like, yo, where's my money? Where's I gave you 70 billion, bro. Like 80 billion, and you told me that we were going to have 90 million Game Pass players by 2030. We got 30, bro. 30 million. Like, where the hell is my money? And listen, I got into an argument with some people about this before. I don't blame Sacha at all for any of these things. I think you could say like he was maybe a bit more impatient.
No, he had to come in. He had to come in, bro. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Phil was like, it does seem like in hindsight that Phil was fucking around.
Sacha is the kind of like, for me, he's the kind of CEO that like I think like someone will flourish under, because I always say this to everybody. If you replace Phil, or you put Phil in the team, but you put Peter Moore as a head of Xbox, and Phil still does like, maybe something else, maybe a game content, whatever it is, and you tell Peter, you're going to get all this, you're going to get the Xbox Series X, the Series S, you're going to have the PC storefronts to penetrate those users that we just can't get, you're going to have cloud, this emerging new market to penetrate as well, you're going to have Play Anywhere as an option, you're going to have all these options, and we're just going to throw like 80 billion at you to do whatever the hell you need to do. I think Xbox is very different today.
Yeah,
I think it's so different.
I think we all agree there that like it'll be a different company. But anyways, let's hear what Strauss is. It's a 30-minute video, so I'm just gonna play the first part of it. If there's specific parts, Ty, that you want me to shift to, please let me know. I don't think it has timestamps. I'm not sure because it's a news publication.
Just a quick one. It's Fuzzy says some of these games are already on mobile phone because they're on cloud. That is true, Fuzzy, but not every, because here's the thing. The cloud doesn't really work with mobile phones for a few reasons. They're not optimized well for the mobile phone. I've tried to play a lot of games on cloud sometimes, and it just doesn't work. Like, it's too small. That's one. Number two, they're not. If you made an actual just a mobile game, and you get more people downloading and playing that game than you would if you told them like it's on cloud. Excuse me. They need to see it there. Like, the game itself needs to be in the App Store, and they need to see it. And then you release it, and then you're gonna have all the mobile phone YouTubers. They are going to start reviewing it, and that's how they, like, whenever I want to play a new mobile game, I always say things like new mobile games coming out, top 20 RPG mobile games, top 10 strategy mobile games. Flight Simulator will never appear on these like charts because it's not a mobile game. It's a console game that you can play on cloud.
Agreed. All right. And Mr. Strauss Zelnick.
The world of video gaming. But well, that goes back a long time. I was president of the movie studio, 20th Century Fox. So Strauss, take us back. What first brought you to the world of video gaming? But well, that goes back a long time. I was president of the movie studio, 20th Century Fox. I'd been there for some time, and I spent 7 years in the movie business. I'd overseen 155 movies, and it became clear that this was a mature business. Fun, but mature.
When
I
did
remember
this
saying to
interview
myself,
come
I
out?
really want is a business that is the movie business.
This was sometime like in the last 2 weeks, though. It's recent. It's like I think it was in the last week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very recent.
But in 1927, the heyday of its business. And I sort of looked around and said, what would that be? And it occurred to me that was the video game business.
So this is very important what he says.
And I remember saying to myself, I really want is a business that is the movie business, but in 1927.
Yeah. So to me, this is very foundational and it's very profound because he's saying that, like he was like he had what 155 movies that he had done. Like to me, it sounds like someone that really was interested in building something that is, or in an industry that is younger, and watch it mature. So like to me, that is such a profound thing for him to choose gaming. And I told this to Ty that like the company that he chose to me blew my mind. Like I didn't think that's the company that you would go from Fox to that company, considering how small that company was. And he'll say now, back in 1993, 1992.
The heyday of its business. And I sort of looked around and said, what would that be? And it occurred to me that was the video game business. And then coincidentally, I was recruited to join a startup in the video game space. So you're looking at the only person who's voluntarily left the job of president of 20th Century Fox to go to a raw startup in Silicon Valley, which I did in 1993.
So 1993 was a while ago.
It was.
How mature is the business now?
It's much more mature, and the hallmarks of a mature entertainment business are generally the same. You see consolidation. You see the big get bigger. You see capital go towards those big companies, and it becomes a top 10 or 20 business at any given time. Those hallmarks do exist already. The growth case, though, is a reflection of the fact that our average player is still 37 or 38 years old, and you engage with the same entertainment.
And this is very important, and this is what a lot of people that make games, I think, miss is that. Again, if the average guy that's playing GTA is in his 30s or mid 30s, it tells you that like there's a reason GTA doesn't miss. And he knows his demographic. And I always say that the problem with a lot of developers in gaming, they're developing for gamers that don't exist. They're developing at the artist's whims. And I'm like, what's the point of that? That's not a good business strategy. Make games for people that play games. And then if this guy who makes the biggest IP in the world is that it's 30 something year old dudes that are playing your games, like how difficult is that to figure out?
So before I actually comment on that, or maybe we can keep playing it, can we acknowledge that Strauss Zelnick just said the video game space is a mature space as well?
He said, did he say kind of mature?
No, he said mature.
I'll rewind.
Yeah, you better rewind, bro.
It's much more mature.
He said it's much more mature.
Ah, fuck off.
He said it's much more mature. Like he was very specific in how he chose his words. Sorry, I'm not countering him. I'm just saying it's mature.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
Get bigger. You see capital go towards those big companies.
So I mean, he gave the
a
examples
top
of
10.
like a mature industry, which was like capital consolidation, which is all the points I was saying when I said the video game space is a mature space.
Correct. But like what he's trying, or like what I'm understanding from what he's saying here is that there's still room for this industry to grow. It's not gotten to the point where it's at Hollywood maturity yet. So he's saying that there's still way more to go in terms of growth.
I don't know if I agree with that because the video game space already makes more money than Hollywood. Like,
No, he's not talking about like. I think he's talking like again, like it's not like for like, right? And like I don't think he's comparing it in terms of how much money it's making, but in terms of like the developments within the industry, in terms of like how it's producing the entertainment. It's still, as much as it makes the most money, would you agree that people still consume video entertainment more?
Yeah.
Like across these different mediums. So Hollywood and all these other forms of entertainment, music and whatever, they're still much more accessible to more people than gaming, despite gaming making so much money.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's what he's saying. So we're not in disagreement here. It's just where it is in the journey.
Or 20 business at any given time. Those hallmarks do exist already. The growth case, though, is a reflection of the fact that our average player is still 37 or 38 years old, and you engage with the same entertainment that you fell in love with at the age of 17 for the rest of your life. You don't stop engaging with it. So as that average player turns 39, he or she doesn't stop playing. They keep playing, and more people enter the cohort, of course. So mathematically, we should expect growth in this business for some time to come.
How fast is the overall
I just want to
business
stop with
growing?
this. So to your case, Ty, like this is the point that you make. So what he's saying is that we've already got these older players. So again, there's still room for them to court younger players because they know that once they have you like from the age of 17 or so, you're gonna be playing these type of games for the next fucking 20, 40 years. So I think that talks to your point when you talk about the fact that like there's a huge younger market and so forth that's coming into gaming, etc. But you have to court the right sort of. You have to court the guys that are interested in playing GTA, and I think that's what GTA Online is.
I think where I agree with him somewhat. However, I think the data shows that the younger players, they're not they're gaming, but I think they're more of a casual gamer. And I think this is what the video Michael Bell was in the gaming is losing some of these people to the Netflixes, to the YouTubes, to the TikToks. Like I remember, like again, I said this some time ago, maybe on this podcast. If you had told me that when I was 10 years old, that I would be watching more YouTube than playing games, I would never have believed you. If you had told me that I'd be watching more TV than playing games, I would never have believed you. If you had told me that I'll be on the internet more, just reading stuff, watching TikTok, YouTube, reading stuff, or whatever it is, more than gaming, I would have never believed you, especially given the fact that I had money.
Yeah.
So the fact that like the younger generation, they're just like, I mean, we play games, like I'm gonna go do this instead. And I think the ones who are getting into games, they're not getting into consoles. They're getting into games. That's why Fortnite is like has more active players than
that's what's sorry to cut you off. That's what's interesting about what he said about there's more older, the 38 to 39, but there's Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
That's just killing it. That's killing most of the console games. And I feel like the console games would be the more mature people like us.
Yeah, correct. 100% spot on.
Yeah. So I think what they need to do is, it's probably easy for him to say to some extent, right? Because I think somebody said this, one of the biggest mistakes that Sony didn't really do is they kind of didn't really court the younger crowd by making titles for them. And then at some point, I think there's a realization that like, you know what, we actually need to go to them. Because if Oshus is growing up on Game Boys and a NES or N64, it makes sense for him to gradually stay within that, console space. However, if these kids are growing up playing mobile phones, and these mobile phones are not, there's no loyalty. They're just like, oh, it's an Apple phone, it's a Samsung phone, HTC. It's the games that they have a loyalty to. So, and if they have loyalty to the games, then the consoles just won't sell. So then at that point, you need to attract them. You need to go to where they are, which is the mobile phone, et cetera, or the PCs. So I think that's where the industry might be having not the industry. That's where the console space might be having a problem. At some point, someone's going to ask a question and say, "Why am I buying $700 just to play a PlayStation?"
Yeah. So the main thing, like just going back to Sony, I think the biggest mistake they made is abandoning the Vita, because that was the perfect ideal market because again, like I'm not talking about competing with cell phones. I'm saying competing against Nintendo for that mobile market, which tends to be more casual and younger. I don't think they should have ever dropped that console or dropped the mobile race, which is probably why they're getting back into it, because mobile is how most people interact with games in terms of like the general population. You interact with those games when you're commuting, when you have a few minutes in between time to do a quick activity. And them dropping that gave Nintendo the biggest win, I think.
I also think Sony made a major mistake by dropping their mobile plan, because they were trying to make, I think they got the person from Apple and I think it's called Savage Games. They had a whole studio and they dropped it. And I thought that was really stupid of them because they had a lot of IP that could have came over.
Yeah.
And when it's mobile, you tap into how many people, like you guys were saying.
Yeah.
And so, I think Sony made a big mistake by doing that.
Yeah, because to Ty's point, they need to now tie, because the thing is, Ty, like, this is where platforms come into place, an ecosystem, is you need to then, just like, because all Fortnite is a brand. Fortnite is more of a service than it is a game, because it does a whole bunch of different things. There's like racing. It literally is like that movie with the Oasis where you can do all these things. So what they need to do is turn PlayStation into a similar brand as, say, Fortnite, where people don't look at it just as a console, but they look at it as an ecosystem to play games. Case in point, Apple has done this successfully with their mobile phones. And again, hardware has nothing. I always say to people, like, if you there's no sort of formula. No one can tell you that there's a formula where, you know, the software route is the best route, hardware is dying. No, like, that is the biggest bullshit that you can ever hear. The bottom line is, if you want to secure yourself for the future, then you need to make sure that on both hardware and software fronts, you're taken care of. You have the software and you have the hardware. And Apple gets that right. That's why they're the biggest brand in the world. Period.
It's growing more rapidly than any other part of the audio-visual entertainment business, but it's not a huge growth rate now. I would say if you combine console and mobile together, probably around 4 or 5% a year at this rate. So it was growing rapidly, obviously, through the pandemic. It pulled back in 22. Mobile actually had a down year. It's now returned to growth, but slower growth than pre-pandemic.
When you were first involved in 1983, how global was the business?
It was a global business, but a fraction of the size that it is today. Today, interactive entertainment is a $180 billion market, so it's bigger than music, motion pictures, and television put together.
And how much of that's outside the United States, how much inside?
It skews somewhat more heavily outside of the United States, but if you look at companies like Take-Two, we still skew toward...
So this is very important what he's saying here, is that largely a lot of and I think this talks to PC and Asia, the biggest portion of gaming, not like significantly big, a lot of it is in Asia. And that's where a lot of the multiplayer and the online MMOs and all the gacha games come from. And all the games that you can play while you're on the train, that's where all that is. Whereas their business is largely to the west, which is your living room business and your PC business.
The US and Western Europe, Asia's a massive business sort of centered in China, and companies like Tencent are huge participants in that market. We participate there as well, but we're quite small.
You mentioned mobile. Break down the segments in the business overall.
Well, really, the big rubric is mobile versus console and PC. So think of console and PC as a big cinematic experience that you engage in for many hours. Think of mobile as a small, sort of bite-sized experience, and a mobile player will engage with a game they love 7, 10, 15 times a day for 5 to 10 minutes each time.
So talk to us about Take-Two and its place within this video game world. You have both mobile and console. How big are those relative to each other for Take-Two?
About 50-50. And our goal on the mobile side is to have the #1 market share in mobile. We're not there yet. We're heading in that direction. On the console and PC side, we're one of the leading players. And taken as a whole...
Wait. What do they have on mobile?
Zynga. They have Zynga. I don't know what they make, but they have Zynga.
I think it started doing well for them as well.
Oh, okay.
Depending on the day, by market cap, we're somewhere between #2 and #3 in terms of pure play interactive entertainment companies worldwide.
So as you suggested, mobile versus console goes up and down, it fluctuates. Is there a long-term trend toward one and away from the other?
Mobile's growing a bit more rapidly than console, and that's, I think, because it speaks to a broader demographic. So mobile tends to skew a bit older, tends to skew more female. Console tends to skew a bit younger, and not very young, but sort of 18 to 34, whereas mobile can be 34 plus, and console does skew a bit more male.
What about geographically? Yeah. Is there a skew of...
Yeah.
See, like, that's what I'm interested in, especially when it comes to collecting this data. How many girls are playing consoles? Because there's more girls than guys.
Yeah, but like what he's saying is basically your female audience is more
On
leaning
mobile.
towards mobile, which I think we've always known. Like I think this is always
Yeah.
because and again you look at like how many, like let me ask you a question in your personal life, how many girls do you know like Cass that are actually core gamers where they it's not because their boyfriend is into it, but like they just into it, they invest in like hardware like an Xbox or a PC, a gaming PC?
Zero.
Tai, how many do you know?
How many? So what's the question? How many people I know
Girls
invest
do you
in?
know in your life, just in your life and your exposure, that invest in like console hardware, PC hardware, that are that serious about gaming, and that's where they primarily game?
I think I'm missing a question. Like how many of like a female friend, for
Females,
example?
girls,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it could be any your loved one, with girl you
anyone that
hooking
you
up
know.
with,
like,
cousins.
No. They don't really. I know a few who play console games, but like actually the
who
funny thing is
bought
that
hardware to buy
PlayStation.
Yeah,
PlayStation. But if
anything, any hardware.
no, if the question is, do my friends who are females primarily play on mobile than consoles?
No.
Yes, they primarily play mobile phone.
No, I'm saying
No. What
in
he's
your life-
saying is, yeah, how many people do you know before you are, for example, a girl you're dating? Did she get into gaming before or after? But now just separate the dating. Like, how many people do you know? It could be your cousins, your sister-in-law,
that was
whatever.
into gaming before me.
Before you, yeah, that was buying
not
hardware.
before you. Sorry, Ken, not before you, but who buy like a PlayStation to game primarily, or build a PC, or buy a PC just for gaming.
I don't know that many. No.
No, which is the point that he's making, that like that's why those stats sort of skew towards mobile. Like there's a lot of every single girl that I know plays some form of mobile game, whether it's Candy Crush or anything. Like you see it every, like when I'm on the bus, when I'm on the train, and I commute almost every day. I look over some woman is playing something on their phone, and it's either Clash of Clans, Candy Crush, all these sort of like quick games where you can squeeze and more than guys, way more than guys. Like when you look over at a guy, they like either doing something on Twitter, but like listening to music. Whereas I've just found that that's typically the case, which is what he's alluding to here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, we're not going to talk about the cause. We're talking about just the effect. Okay, fair enough.
I just wanted to bring that up because it was interesting. My bad.
Just a quick one. Rachie says most girls play Nintendo, and I think there has been some stats that says like most of the majority of gamers play Nintendo, and I think this is interesting kind of cause and effect as well, because the question is, well, why is that the case? And maybe on PlayStation and Xbox, it's actually more men, and which would actually indicate that like women do actually want to play these games. Number one, the reason why they're not playing it is because you could account for society telling them not to play these games, not to get an Xbox, not to get a PlayStation. For example, I know someone who, when she was a kid, she always wanted to play the Game Boy. I always wanted to play, Xbox, PlayStation. But her parents, her mom in particular, was like, that's a boy's thing. That's a boy's thing. So she never had access to it.
Yeah.
She was only allowed to play the Game Boy. Now she kept on pushing towards, kept pushing. Yeah, Game Boy, yeah, I know, but still, but Mario's on it, so it's all good. And then, but eventually, once she got out of the house, she went to go buy a PlayStation, blah, blah, blah. She loves The Last of Us, that kind of stuff. I know some other girls as well who they'll tell you, like, they're gamers. And the reason why they became gamers is because their brothers and cousins introduced them to gaming. So they were able to, like, actually, like, grow into it with them because that was who they were hanging out with. And listen, like, maybe I could say by default I would just like games because I'm a guy, but I know the first time I played a game was with my cousin, like my big cousins who were like I looked up to. they were playing games, and I was like, oh, I want to play too. And then they taught me how to play as Ryu, blah blah blah. So with this girl, she said the exact same thing too. I saw the guys I liked wanted to play games, and another girl as well, the exact same thing. How did she get into football? Because she wanted to play with the other kids, and the other kids were like her cousins who were boys. So she just got into football like that. So there is a question of how much is society actually influencing these decisions. But listen, that's a causal question. Let's get back to the video.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I completely agree with you. It's always related to something or another within society and how people are programmed.
Girls need to get
because it says he knew some girls in college that gamed a decent amount. We used to play Smash Bros. Smash Bros is the game. Yes, you're right, Fuzzy. And Richie's actually I got it from Richie. Richie's the one who said girls play Nintendo. So yeah, that's how I remembered.
My question to Fuzzy is, why didn't you bag any of them? Because you're not gonna find.
Shit.
Because I'm like, where are you gonna find a girl that just likes playing video?
Yo, that ass.
Like you take the first one you can get, and you go, dude. Like,
Look at Richie's comment. The Game Boy was created because parents are liars. They always say, "Wait 5 minutes in the car, I'll be quick." You're waiting 45 minutes. Play with your fingers in boredom. You know what? That's such an effective strategy. They're like, that fucking sucker. Like, just give him the Game Boy. Be gone for 5 hours.
I was actually introduced to video games from my cousins who are all girls.
Really?
Yo.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, you say that, Kenwell. For me, one of the best gamers, like, and we used to, like, back in the day, like, it was 8-bit, 16-bit days, was my sister. My sister was like, because she was like super smart, like, and she could, like, her attention span was amazing. She's the only person that I know that almost finished Galaga. You know, it was this Galaga.
Oh shit!
You know that, like, with the through.
Yeah.
She got to, like, ridiculous. I left her playing the game, right? I went to school. I think she was like, they were like on, like, because she was a senior and I was a junior, so they were like on study break or whatever. I left her to go to school. I come back, she's on like level 56, 50, between like in the 60s. I'm like, what the freak? This game is still going? And like, she's like, yeah. And she was that good. She's the only person that I know that finished Super Mario. So yeah, props to the ladies, man. Like, yeah, she was brilliant at it.
It's a broad-based worldwide business. Now, of course, in developing economies, mobile's much more important as a device, and there wouldn't be, for example, there aren't that many consoles in Africa or India. Those are mobile markets. But no, not really. It's a broad-based worldwide business. Now, of course, in developing economies, mobile's much more important as a device, and there wouldn't be, for example, there aren't that many consoles in Africa or India. Those are mobile markets. But there's also very, very small markets for us.
What's the revenue stream look like? How do you get your money?
Well, in the mobile business, essentially mobile's free to play, and we monetize through advertising and in-app purchases. And somewhere between 3 and 20% of the users will pay for in-app purchases, so the rest do not. And advertising is obviously broadly distributed, but on a targeted basis. In the case of console and PC, there's a free-to-play business, but that is largely a business where you purchase a unit, and then you often have the opportunity to engage in an ongoing basis after the original purchase through a multiplayer, for example, experience, and that would be also monetized in-game.
So on the console side, you can continue to pay various enhancements over time.
Yeah, but let's focus on what really matters, which is you can continue to enjoy the experience. You can continue to engage.
He's so self-aware. Like, this dude, like, yeah. When I grow up, I want to be like Strauss. Like, dude, like, he gets the line between being. He's not like Bobby Kotick, who couldn't give a fuck about gamers. Like, when Bobby Kotick talks about gamers, he talks about gamers like the McDonald's CEO talking about, like, what was his new burger? It's product.
Yeah.
I'm about to taste the product. I'm glad that he's got that self-awareness.
Crimson Desert apparently has AI slot.
Oh, I saw that.
Is it?
Who the fuck found that in the game?
Yeah, I saw one of the pictures with the skull, and they were like, "Yeah, this kind of looks AI-ish." And then I saw another picture, like it's just like a portrait of like men on horses, and kind of like in the war. And it seems like those men and those horses are fusing together, man. I saw it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a fuck up right there. That's definitely some kind of AI mix up." And so we were like, "Oh, I'm so disappointed. I paid $70 for this." One guy was like, so like what do you mean? Wait, so because you saw like 4 AI pictures, now the game is slop? Like what the fuck? And then he was being downvoted, and then he was like, and then someone was like, where does the line get drawn? And he's like, are you guys kidding me? Like, is the game good or not? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Anyways, yeah, let's get back to the video.
Yeah, man.
It's ridiculous.
They're gonna get Crimson Desert story is not over. It's gonna be on for a while.
Yeah, it's not so funny, man.
And what we find so exciting about that ongoing engagement today is that once upon a time, the interactive entertainment business looked like the movie business, one and done. You go out to the market after, an enormous creative effort and hope for the best. Today, hit experiences, obviously hit experiences. No one wants more of something, it's not a hit. But hit experiences can become what we call live services. They really are alive. So Grand Theft Auto Online has been around for 12 years, and it continues to engage and captivate audiences, and it's bigger than ever, depending on the day. GTA Plus is up 10% year over year. So on the one hand, Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold in on 210 million units, which is extraordinary. On the other hand, the online experience is a living, breathing, daily experience for millions of people.
So the online experience extended the life, essentially, of these games, because you can play a new game with people around the world.
Greatly, yes, and it's highly social, it's highly engaging, and Rockstar Games, in the case of Grand Theft Auto Online, continues to deliver new content regularly, which keeps audiences excited and engaged.
So you mentioned Grand Theft Auto. We have to talk about that when you talk about the large cinematic experience on a console. Give us a sense of Grand Theft Auto 5 versus 6. It's been 12 years now. It seems like a long time. Why does it take that long to come up with 6?
Well, there are really 2 reasons. The first is we set an intention actually to rest our intellectual property. So some of our competitors come to market very regularly, maybe even annually, with their titles. We only annualize our sports entertainment titles. For our non-sports titles, we think you need to create enormous anticipation on the one hand. And of course, on the other hand, it takes a long time to develop these big, robust experiences. Rockstar Games seeks perfection in what they do. And the perfection is a pretty high bar. It takes a long time. And the reflection of that approach is in the success of Grand Theft Auto 5, which has actually excelled in 3 console generations, which is extraordinary.
Yeah, so and I think
it's crazy.
Look, this is the difference between him and Bobby Kotick, is that this sort of like long-term outlook in terms of like your IPs, like in terms of like looking at them. You're not looking at them like these things are like, well, we're gonna use them up and then like, yeah, we can toss them or sell them. Like, I really like the way that he manages, even though a lot of gamers are complaining about the fact that like there's been a de-emphasis from like of the core sort of single player experience in favor of the online experience. But at the bottom line is that they still give you a super polished game after 12 years. They still gave you Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, what game comes close to that? They still gave you GTA 5 single player. No game in terms of that genre comes close to that. Like, it's like whatever they deliver to you, what they do afterwards, I'm pretty forgiving because of the fact that you got what they promised you. They didn't lie to you. They didn't mislead you.
Yeah.
They still gave you the product. It's optional whether you want that next thing or not. And on top of that, they're taking 12 years to make the next thing so you get the best experience. What more can you ask for?
I kind of do agree that there is a difference between him and Bobby Kotick, 100%. I don't know if Kotick is that, because I think when people think about Kotick, they think obviously Call of Duty and its yearly annual releases. I don't know if, because essentially, I think here's what Kotick will say. You do it with your annual sports titles. What is the difference between your annual sports titles coming out yearly and me putting out Call of Duty yearly? The only difference is the genre, which is an imagined arbitrary line that you've created. There's no reason for it to just be sports title. In fact, let's not take the piss. there's no reason why any game needs to be annualized, sports title or not. So let's not blow our own horn here. The reason why Call of Duty isn't like, if we could turn Call of Duty into what you did to GTA, we would do it too, for sure. But back then, Call of Duty didn't have this massive live service, huge world that everybody wants to explore and do all these things. So I will put it to you that your genre and your type of game allowed you to get away with it, allowed you to do these things. Because let's not forget, as soon as Red Dead Redemption 2 online didn't take off, you canceled the game. I mean, you canceled pretty much the live service elements of it. And when GTA's live service part was taken off, what did you do? Did you or did you not stop developing single player content for GTA? You did.
Yeah, but there's one difference.
So the success of GTA, the live service part, literally affected the single player portion of it. And if Call of Duty, for example, this is probably what even Kodak will say, the analogy isn't Call of Duty and GTA. The analogy is Warzone, which is a live service game, and GTA Online. That should be the real analogy right here. I mean, if I'm quoting that's what I would be saying.
So, like, what I would say to him is like, well, the difference between me and you is that I have annualized titles that I release every year that make me a lot of money, but you don't have GTA. Plain and simple. And you don't have Red Dead Redemption either. Two of the best-selling games of all time. Top 5.
I think he might. Yeah. Okay. True. But I do think he would say, well, we released Crash, we released Tony Hawk, we released Diablo, we released Spyro, Sekiro as well. So we do release some single player games here and there, just like how you do as well.
They're not GTA. Like, I'm just talking about like just from like just comparing like the two. Like, they have, like, to your point about the model, they have games that are annualized that make a shit ton of money, more than what they do. But they have nothing like GTA that is released once in a while that takes that whenever you play it, it's like, wow, so much quality, attention.
True.
They just don't have that sort of like,
No, true. But like, I think, but I mean, like, we could kind of play that game back and forth, because I think, for example, Nintendo turn around and say, yeah, but like we have Mario Kart, we have Zelda, like all you boys are fucking up. Like y'all should step up.
But again, like, then we sort of like extending like the example. I'm just talking about just between Activision and then as two big publishers. They're like Take-Two. The genius about Take-Two is that they have all this other stuff that other studios have, including smaller games like BioShock, etc. Smaller IPs that can do well. Do the same numbers as your Crashes and whatever. They have sports titles, but then they still have the ace in the hole, which is GTA and Red Dead Redemption. Those games come out, like, I think, what is Red Dead sitting at? Like, it's sitting at something ridiculous, like over 50. I think now it's sitting over 60 million sold. I know for a fact that it's sold more than The Witcher 3.
Yeah. They got a pretty versatile catalog, Take-Two.
I wonder though, obviously, like if you're Kodak, you probably turn around and say, yeah, but all your eggs are like in primarily one basket. Like, yeah, okay, Call of Duty is a lot of, like, it's what we have as well. But from an IP perspective, we have Overwatch, we have Candy Crush, we have Diablo, we have World of Warcraft, we have so much more IPs that's bringing different revenue. We're more diversified than you. You're just basically, whatever, GTA.
Do they have sports games?
Yeah, I mean, they do. That would be 2K. But I mean, I think Call of
Duty,
I
mean, does Activision have sports games?
No, they don't.
No.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Take-Two's portfolio is pretty diverse, Ty. Like, it's pretty diverse. They have like major blockbusters. They have cult classics like your BioShocks. Their portfolio is pretty comparable in terms of diversity. I'm not saying that they have a more diverse portfolio than Activision, but it's pretty comparable.
Fuzzy said, let's not give them too much credit. They've released 0 new games this gen.
No, that's Rockstar, not Take Two.
No, I get what he's saying. I think he's saying they haven't released a new IP.
Okay.
I think
I mean, the Mafia came out. Yeah, I mean, like, you know.
Okay, they
yeah,
also
but at the same time, I don't really see why that matters though. A new IP.
I mean, it's still yeah. I hear what you're saying. Ken.
Yeah. No. I'm not like listen. You motherfuckers making me defend Bobby Kotick. Like, stop.
I don't know why you chose.
I saw an interview with Bobby Kotick. He's actually not that bad of a guy when he was talking about the business.
Yeah, from a business side of things, this guy's a good.
I didn't know he wasn't. I thought he was like Strauss Zelnick his beginning, but he was a developer. Bobby Kotick.
Yeah. No, he was. He comes from the trenches. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
He's more similar to what's his name with the Steam guy.
Oh, Valve. Gabe.
Yeah. I think they've somewhat because he's been around since like the freaking 70s and 80s. Like I don't know when he joined Activision, but Activision has been pushing with him for a long time. But anyways, I'm not gonna play this whole thing. You guys, I've heard a lot.
I just want to say I'm interested in. I really dig Take Two of how they give their creators time. Borderlands was a success for them.
Oh yes,
and they've had misses. They have had misses, and they're able to rebound, which really shows how good they are. But I want to know if Judas from Ken Levine is starting to piss them off because he's taking too long with this game.
I'll do some research on that, Ken.
I think they're okay with it because he already said he was like, "Yo, he's willing." He's had that quote where it's like, "Good games are not good enough. They just have to be great." So I feel like that's what's going on, and they're willing to bet. But just like with any bet, that shit can you could lose. So I hope that doesn't happen. Because just like with BioShock, they've been working on a BioShock game for is it 10 years?
Yeah,
they've been working on a BioShock game.
Oh yeah, there is a studio it's not Ken Levine, but someone else.
Yeah, Cloud Chambers. So it's like, I don't know if that was part of the plan originally. So
yeah, I just want to get like because there's no timestamps here. I just want to see if I can get a timestamp of some of the key talking points. But please, while I'm busy, you guys can go on. Okay, let me put Strauss back on while I do this.
Yeah, today, it's still the standard bearer for the industry, even though it was launched so many years ago. And that's kind of astonishing in a business where the technology is continuing to change at a pretty steep rate. So think of the high bar that creates. For us, of course, but much more so for the consumer.
Take us into that development process. What goes into that process? Who's doing the developing? Where are they? What actually goes into it?
Well, it depends on the team. We have team sizes that are as small as 20 people in the mobile space and as large as thousands of people in the console space. And our studios are all over the world. They're greatly distributed. We have a big presence in the state of California. We have presence in Toronto. We're all over Europe. We have a massive presence in Edinburgh, where we have a lot of people in Turkey, of all places, and in China, India, so we're all over the world. You need to be where the talent is. And you can't just centralize because you'll run out of talent in that location.
How do you find talent in Turkey or in China, or for that matter, in the United States?
Well, we have HR teams that are in the business of recruiting the most talented people. We do generally like to be around universities because the people who
so I'm going to fast forward to 13 when he starts to talk about next gen.
Focus groups. So before the studio actually launches the film, they have some sense of where it's going. Do you have that for Grand Theft Auto 6, for example?
Yes, very much so. And now this wouldn't necessarily be true for a big console release, but for many releases, we can actually go out into the market and test actively. We do so in the mobile space.
I have to just stop and say, welcome in, Dorian Gray. Glad to see you here. I think, is this the first time here? I don't remember seeing you here before. Welcome, glad to have you. Dorian Gray says, Activision happened when a bunch of devs left Atari. Yes, correct. There's a lot of truth to that.
He also said GTA is the most glazed, overrated crap. Holy shit.
Where you'll go to 6 or 7 different countries not your biggest market. It's not the US. And you will test the products well before you launch them. And on the console side, we can do a lot of testing as well, and we do. We have consumers come in and play the games along the way and give us feedback. You're right, in the movie business, there is testing, but what do you test? You can't really test before you have a rough cut. To have a rough cut, you've shot the entire thing. And that's why there are more reshoots today than ever before, but reshoots are really expensive. And also, if you're in reshoot land, often, my experience has been, having overseen a lot of movies, you're already in trouble if you're in reshoot land.
When you think about launching a console, there are trailers that are released. For example, there are, as I understand, for Grand Theft Auto 6. Does the popularity...
There's been one trailer so far, yeah.
But does the popularity of the trailer indicate how the game's going to do?
Well, sorta, which is to say, if no one paid any attention to the trailer, that'd be a bad sign. But there's no guarantee that you can put out a great trailer and still not have a successful release. In the same way you would have that with, the marketing any property.
Whether it's in cinema or whether it's in video games, it's ultimately the creative talent that drives the business. How do you lock up the creative talent? Is there a lot of competition for that creative talent? Are you at risk of losing some of it?
Look, probably the thing that I think our teams do best would be attracting, retaining, and motivating our creative teams. And one of the things I'm probably most proud of in my career, given that I don't really have any creative talent at all myself, is that I seem to have some ability to figure out who's really talented and somehow convince them to work within our system, and then most importantly, then to pursue their passions, or their genuine creative passions. And that's how hits are created. So we create a culture where talent is enormously valued. And then we have a rational system, so we're not bugging them any more than necessary, and we encourage them to do their work. And then we provide essentially unlimited financial resources to create perfection. And everyone's going in that direction. And then we compensate people appropriately. We share. So in success, we share. But the goal is to align all incentives. The incentives of our shareholders should be aligned with the incentives of our colleagues. We all should be pulling in the same direction.
As in cinema, it's a hit-driven business. What is a hit? I mean, what numbers do you look at? What metrics do you look at? As you're looking, for example, toward GTA 6, I mean, what kind of range sort of makes it a hit for you?
Well, you would look at unit sales for something like GTA 6 or NBA 2K or Borderlands or Civilization, and you would look at the sales of the last iteration, or in the case of new intellectual property, you'd sort of get a sense of what you think that thing looks like and compare it to other similar releases. And on the mobile side, you would be looking at ultimately you'd be looking at your revenue and your profitability to get a sense of what a hit is.
When I listen to you, you have something of a portfolio with the mobile and the annual sports franchises that get renewed every year, and then the big console releases. Is that the way you view it? Are you sort of hedging? You can sort of hedge by not having all your eggs in one of those baskets?
Absolutely. When we took over Take-Two in 2007, the company had one huge hit in the Grand Theft Auto series, one tiny hit in the NBA 2K series. That was about it. And so in addition to fixing the problems that we inherited, including meaningful compliance problems, our job was to diversify the product line and actually create more hits on the one hand, and on the other hand, to create a catalog that would generate income on an ongoing basis. And I said, in the very beginning, I said, look,
So I've been seeing this when I stream. Dorian and TJ, I've been noticing that there are people, and I'm not coming at you guys at all. I've been noticing that people are like they seem tuned out of GTA with this upcoming release of GTA 6. I've been noticing this. They're not the only ones. I've had people come to the chat going like, I'm not really that excited about GTA 6. They didn't like GTA 5. So I'm interested to see how this is going to do, like in terms of people talking about GTA 6. And yeah.
So is Ty and Dorian Gray bidding against GTA 6, or are they saying that it's just not for them?
I think they're just saying it's just not for them.
Is it? Look, there's for me.
I didn't even know that was Ty.
Yeah. So I'll say this, right, and then I think we're gonna move on. But like I'll say this in terms of like the Strauss, because I think it's gonna be really much business and insights and stuff. I was looking for like where they start talking about consoles, but I don't think it's this interview. I think that's another interview. So I think, right, how I feel about GTA is how I've always felt about GTA. when I bought a PS2, GTA was not the game I bought a PS2 for. I bought a PS2 for Metal Gear Solid 2. And what was the other big game at that time that I really liked? I can't remember, but like it was primarily for Metal Gear. That was the console to play Metal Gear on. When I bought a 360, I bought a 360 for Gears of War and Halo. But then, I still when GTA 4 was announced, that changed things. Same with same with the Xbox One and the PS4. So I didn't buy those consoles for Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2. So my whole point is that something about Rockstar's games that it's such an event that whether you're paying attention or not, once they've got you with like maybe the trailer or whatever, and you start playing that game, you're in there, you're hooked, and it's always worked that way. I've never been hyped, basically, is what I'm saying, for a Rockstar game. Not even Red Dead or any of. I've never been like, "Ooh, I'm really looking forward to that." But when the hype train starts, and then you end up at a friend's house, and then they're playing the game, dude, you're gonna go get that fucking game. I'm sorry, it's always worked like that for me with Rockstar's games, is that it's not a game that I was looking forward to, but because I own the console and I'm like, damn, that shit is, I need to get, and then I've never been disappointed.
Yeah.
All the way going back to PS2 up until now.
Yeah, like the only one I was disappointed with, and I was the most excited, was GTA 5. But GTA 6 is not my most anticipated game that I want to play this year. So yeah, I that definitely makes a lot of sense, and I agree with that.
Why were you, if I may ask, why were you disappointed or not?
I felt like it was the story. I didn't like the story compared to 4. I didn't like most of the characters in GTA 5, and then I felt GTA 5. I really was disappointed with the heist aspect of the game when it came to the multiplayer, because they were like, yo, you're going to be able to do all this stuff. And then the communication with Rockstar was just shit. So that really disappointed me. And then I just felt like GTA 4 had just took more of a leap compared to GTA 5.
Yeah.
So I was just fucking mind blown. Like I remember going to my neighbor's house and playing GTA 4. I was like, bro, I'm in New York. Like this is New York.
Yeah. Everything looked realistic.
Everything looked so good. And then GTA 5, I was like, oh, LA. I was like, LA's cool, but it's not the type of setting I really cared about. But like this year, it's cool that it's in Miami, because that's a really cool place. You ever go visit? It's like a different. Out of all the places in the States, Miami feels like a territory. Where just it's got a different vibe to it compared to everywhere else in America.
Yeah. So to your point about like GTA 4, so GTA 4 I always say is probably got the best GTA story ever. Nico Bellic is still my favorite out of all the protagonists from GTA. I think to me he's the most fully realized character, and he's the most relatable one. Actually, let me put it like this. It's a tie for me between him and Tommy Vercetti. But like I'm not I suppose I'm also not I was gonna say I'm not a mob guy, but I'm also not an Eastern European.
Yeah. But at least he's an immigrant.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like, I'm not saying you're an immigrant, but like, yeah.
Yeah. No, not in my country, but like, yeah. But the thing is, I can relate to that whole. The point about the immigrant thing you're making is very important, because, it's like, and I'm sure it's the same in America, right? If you moving from, because I come from a small country, ass town, like it's like really, really country. It's like really, and then you move to the big city, right? I had all those sort of feelings where you have a cousin that says, "Yeah, come to the big city." Like, yeah. This is like I lived that, like, and around that same time.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I didn't think about this until you said it, Kenwell. Like, maybe that's why he was so much more relatable to me, is because I know that experience of moving from a small town somewhere in the country and moving into the big city, and you're exposed to these things for the first time. Yeah, man, like he was super relatable to me.
Yeah.
More than Trevor and the crew were relatable. Yeah, I hear you. So okay, cool. So do you guys want me to go on and finish this? You guys will let me know, because it just gets very businessy from here on. I was just looking at the timeline. So the next thing that they're going to be talking about basically is capital allocation, M&A outlook, and so forth. So yeah, and
I actually got a few minutes left, and then I gotta go.
Yeah, no, I think, you know what? I'm happy for us to sort of like wrap it up around here. Is Ty still there, or did he fall asleep?
I am indeed.
Yeah. So Ty, are you happy for us to sort of like wrap it up here, because this is?
Was there any other talking points that was?
So I looked for the timestamp. So the state of the industry, normalization. He spoke about that. The beginning. Grand Theft Auto 6 and the strategy, mobile gaming, and Zynga. He spoke about that. Impact of artificial intelligence. I think I skipped that. It's around the 10-minute mark.
But the interesting thing is, I think the interview that I was talking about was one with Christopher Drink, when he was talking about like.
Oh, but yeah, that's a written one. It's not a.
In that interview, he just basically, they asked him like, any advice for her, and he just reiterated the point that this was really interesting what he said. He said that when he was at Fox, he dealt with the business side of things, and then his partner dealt with the content side of things, right? And he says, that if he failed the business side of things, but his partner succeeded in the content side of things, like made great movies, the business still succeeds. But if he succeeds in the business side of things and his partner fails in the content side of things, he said it fails. Everything fails.
Yep.
And he says, but the optimum thing you want is if the business side succeeds, so he succeeds, and then his partner also succeeds, he says you succeed even more. So he reiterates this point that the most important thing to ever do in this industry is to create amazing products. And once you have that as your foundation, you can kick on from there. Because even if you fail on the business side, we didn't market this well, or we should have linked up with this other developer to do this, we should have included more microtransactions. If the game is amazing, the game's amazing. It doesn't matter. You might lambaste yourself and say, well, if we did the business side well, we could have made an extra 100 million or whatever it is, right? So I'll give an example. A bad business decision could be putting your game as a time exclusive on Epic or whatever it is, right? But at the end of the day, the game is still good, so you're gonna bring in users. But if the game sucks, doesn't matter what kind of business decision you're making, you're just gonna fail. And I think Xbox needs to look at that. Forget about Game Pass, forget about cloud, forget about PC, forget about even the consoles. Are your games amazing? And by amazing, are they drawing in users?
Well, they already failed because they kept Matt Booty.
I think Ty would disagree.
Listen, the truth, like I said, my Booty is a 80 Metacritic kind of guy.
Yeah.
And maybe what Xbox needs is somebody who's dropping 92, 93, 95 Metacritic, because I would just always posit that, like, if Xbox was dropping not just 92 Metacritic games, but 92 Metacritic games that people wanted to actually purchase, like people actually going out to go buy, there you go. Like, I think they're not in this position at all. I have this screenshot of a guy who was like, I purchased because the software is coming out on PS5, and he said, yo, I'm so happy I didn't buy it on Xbox at all. I was going to buy an Xbox to play this game, and now it's coming out on PS5, so I'm happy. And under him, somebody was like, I actually purchased an Xbox to play this game, and I regret it.
Ooh.
You want that guy to say, yo, I purchased on the Xbox to play this game, and it was worth it, not just because this game was amazing, but because 4 months later, another freaking 10 out of 10 game came out. And then 5 months later, another 10 out of 10 game came out. And then now I'm getting Forza Horizon 6, and I'm geting Fable. And I'm like, you want this continuous rolling effect of top quality games, which is just going to steamball into more console sales, more Game Pass sales, and it's going to, you know, I mentioned how, like, you know, even if you're not bringing in many like console sales, you're losing that 30% cut every single time. So if you bring in more, you know, more users, you get in more of that cut, which allows you to invest more in your ecosystem, etc., etc., etc. Like, you know, that interview with Strauss was just very, very telling.
Yeah,
and it's something that's supposed to work on.
No, I agree with you. Like, again, like a lot of these things have all those facets. So Darren Gray says, sorry, I love narrative and written and writing and impact. I like RPGs. Yes, GTAs are fun, like chicken nuggets, but no one will ever put down steak for them. I think GTA is steak, because if I look at like how matured it is and how like what it takes to prepare, and the fact that it's probably going to cost you the price of a steak. I don't think chicken nuggets, Dorian Gray. Respectfully, like I really think that like the amount of sort of effort, and I just remember how good, like the one thing that impressed me about GTA 5 is like how good that game looked running on a 360. And by then I'd like, this was towards the end of the 360 era.
Yeah.
And running games like Crisis, dude, like you were literally running like, you could tell that this it's trying, it's doing its best. But with GTA 5, that thing ran smooth as butter, dude. I don't remember it having any hitches or any issues, and it looked better than anything. Like, I'm a huge Saints Row fan, and I just finished playing Saints Row, I think 4 at the time, and like that didn't even like not even it's not even the same conversation. Yeah. But anyway, gents, is there anything else that we might have missed that you guys would like to talk about? We are 3 hours and 41 minutes in.
Not much really. I think a good win for Xbox this year was having you know, Crimson Desert as Play Anywhere, having James Bond also as Play Anywhere. Like, honestly, when I think about the big third-party games coming out this year, apart from GTA, it's actually Crimson Desert and James Bond that comes to mind, and they managed to nab those 2 games for Play Anywhere. That's a huge get. So well done to them for doing that.
Do you think it's gonna make any difference in terms of like how many people play that thing on Xbox versus anywhere else?
No, so I will say, if you're a PC player, I think it might have turned some heads. Number one, I think even if you're a console player, it might have turned some heads. If you have like a PS5 version and you have an Xbox, you might consider getting an Xbox. So I do think they will have got maybe a couple of sales here and there. Does it add up to like 200 sales, 300 sales, maybe 2,000 sales? Maybe, because I know for a fact, as soon as I see Play Anywhere, I do feel this like, you know, it's Play Anywhere. You know, I can play it on my console. I can play it on my desktop, and then, you know, if I get one of those handheld devices, I can play it on that as well. So it is a really good selling point, and I think it's the only thing that they can do to actually attract people to their user base, because they don't have that. Like, Sony is dominant right now. So So yeah, but then obviously when Colt Eastwood tries to get it, and he's like, "Yo, this shit ain't working," and then he's like, "You know what, fuck this," and then he goes to Steam. Like, it's a bad look.
Yeah, he bought his keyboard. Yeah, he said he canceled his PC Xbox, and again, that's where you're pivoting to his PC, his Xbox PC. That shit has to work like clockwork. Like that needs to be like some clockwork shit. If that's not clockwork, then we have a problem. Yeah. So, gents, I think that's it. Let's wrap this up. So, Kenwell, please let us know what you will be up to going forward. And then where can people find you and all that?
All right. So I will be trying to love this Crimson Desert game. We'll see how that goes. It's a solid 6 out of 10 right now.
Whoa.
So let's see where it goes after I get 5 hours in. So you could check that out. I'm going to be streaming on my channel at Kenwall. So I don't know exactly when I'm going to be streaming yet, but I do post like when I'm going to be. I always give in advance. So just check that out on the channel.
All right. Thanks. Taye, what you been up to? What did you do? I know that you did something this week. We spoke about it on Wednesday. Maybe you just want to remind the guys.
Yeah, I did
what are you going to be up
my
to?
booty, which is great, fantastic. the Xbox check came through, so now I gotta do one on how Satya is one of the best CEOs ever, as well. No, but on a real talk, I did a video just kind of going through my booty's portfolio of games. Overall, Metacritic wise, around 82 to 83, 80 to 83. So that's his range. So that's a good rating. However, if you're somebody who wants that, the 90s Metacritic, those games that actually define a generation, or the games that actually makes you like think about, what's going on, aka a Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Red Dead Redemption, GTA, those kind of games, BioShock, right? That really kind of hits you. God of War, Last of Us 1. You're not getting that really under his portfolio. You might get something close to that, but it's going to be from a maybe simulation experience, like a car, or some kind of indie-like game, like a Pentiment, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, that is one of the maybe flaws you can say. However, when 2026 is said and done, and Gears of War E-Day has come out, and Fable has come out, maybe that will change. Maybe he can then turn around and say, no, I did release single player narrative experiences that do range in the high 80s or 90s, and and that would look really good on his CV. However, if these games range in the early 80s, like 82, 83, 84, it would just be the same old.
Oops. Oh. All right, there you heard it from Mr. Booty Glazer himself. just messing with you, Tai. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining us. Fuzzy, Raichi, Vincent, and yeah, Dorian as well. Thank you guys for finding your way here. And yeah, please leave a like. And if this is your first time here, please subscribe. And you can join us here next time. So as far as like for me, like the one thing that's just been giving me a headache right now is my Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This one of my mods is broken, and it's the most important one. It's my Natalie Portman mod, and then it's frustrating me. Like I actually spent more time today trying to fix that after work than anything. So I'm gonna try and get that correct. And aside from that, I'm also just revisiting the oldies. So I hooked up my Super Nintendo Mini, and yeah, I've been playing Contra Wars as well as some good old Killer Instinct. But guys, yeah, please join us here next week, same time, same place. Players out. Peace.